Well, there goes the Daverhood. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. We're live on this Saturday morning, March 26th. Yeah.
I don't want to upset you, but you have your numbers backward.
Oh my God. Well, if there are any dyslexic people watching, this is what happens when I'm sleep deprived a little bit. Hold on. This is not the 830. No, you're absolutely right. Well, I always figure the computer is a mirror image. So it is not the 834th episode of the show. It happens to be I'll give you a little extra scotch tape here. This is the set that we have for the show, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, look. Exciting. There we go. And that'll do. All right. And we put this here. This is the correct number. See, my wife keeps track of all the important trivia stuff about this program.
Numbers.
Well, you were a statistician, and a demographer.
I was a demographer then.
There you go.
What is it? I was a doctor then. I was thinking that.
The Nick Cave song. But ladies and gentlemen, here we are. Yes, it is the 843rd. See, we have it there. 843rd episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio of the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz. We do this every week. We have been doing this every week since October of 2002, when it was on terrestrial radio. We're on a radio station out on Long Island, and now we've been doing it for about 4 or 5 years now. Video live on Facebook with the episodes then archived on davesgoneby.com. And he picked a perfect episode to turn into, not that it's, as you can see, it's not going to be a perfect episode, but he picked a perfect week to tune in, especially if you've never been here before. If you have no idea what the hell this is, but you tuned in because you found on Facebook or maybe on YouTube who our guest is going to be a little later in the show. Yeah, sing louder, what?
I've been
Wow.
And I'm married to the boy next door, and everyone was Henry.
Henry!
She killed them all, right? That's the underlying premise of that.
Not really. There's no. First, people think when they hear the song "I'm Henry VIII, I Am," that it's about Henry VIII, the king who killed all his wives.
Yeah.
This is sort of a reverse thing. There's another. In this song, he's just this
picture of a king.
Yeah, he's a guy who's been married to this woman who's been married to 7 other guys named Henry. There's no intimation that she killed them. She might have been, might have been divorced, might have been some cancers in there, might have been a couple of KLM flight accidents, but ultimately, he's the 8th old man, he's Henry.
They served in the army in the Ukraine.
That's it, 3 of them were, 2 of them were Russian, 1 was Ukrainian.
They took back one of the cities, the Ukrainian army.
Yeah. And well, God bless them. More power to them. But I love the idea that like the New York Post and Fox are pushing this narrative of like Ukraine's gonna win, and they got a city, and they're pushing back, and they took a little outpost. Meanwhile, Russia is destroying. Mariupol is like gone, man. And yeah, Russia will lose the long war on this because they're occupying this other turf, right? So at some point they've got to stay there, or else they have to negotiate a deal so they can leave. So right now they can bomb and just overwhelm this other country. But at a certain point in the long game, that gets real difficult, as Russia found out in Afghanistan, as we found out in Vietnam and Korea and everywhere else we've tried to go. Ooh, why am I drinking from the rabbi's cup? Forgive me.
Here, I'll give you you have a little coffee left.
So we all want to champion the Ukraine, and we all want to go, yay, Zelensky, and they're gonna beat the Russians, thank you, and they're gonna do this, and God willing they are, and God bless them. But it's kind of like, oh, Russia's taking heavy casualties. Yes, they are. They also bombed a theater and killed 300 people, civilians, hiding in the theater.
Do you think they use like drugs on the troops to get them? I know like soldiers in the U.S. who said they let them use video games to get them adrenaline pumping. Do you think they use like not drugs on the opponent, but they use drugs, or how do they?
They probably have uppers and downers.
How do they get the people like into fighting? That's what I wonder.
Probably. Well, it's Russia. probably there's just a reward system. Like for every Ukrainian you kill, you get a bottle of vodka. that's amazing. Vodka and cigarettes. Even in 2022, when I was in,
did they take your toilet paper?
They did. They did. I visited Russia twice actually, back in the late 1980s, or maybe the second time was very early 1990s, just after Perestroika. Had a fine time and met some absolutely wonderful people. I talked about this last week, but it was just they hadn't really discovered capitalism yet. So I'm at the airport, and coming, I think, back. Why would I have brought a roll of toilet paper back from Russia? I have no idea. I'm assuming I was going in.
You're going to Russia.
Going to Russia.
Yeah, I think you just were weird. You're a weird person who brings a lot of crazy shit.
No, we have been warned of shortages of going into a Russian supermarket, and there's one brand.
But you couldn't live without. You could use.
I could not live without toilet paper.
Paper, like newspaper on their.
Ew!
It's better than the toilet paper.
No, but we were at the customs, and where they're checking your bags, and this Russian guy. I didn't speak Russian. He didn't speak English, and this Russian inspector is going through the bag. He holds up a roll of toilet paper that I had brought to Russia, under the assumption, under the fear that it's Russia. And that it's still 1974, right? And that they have shortages of everything, and that's the line that they fed us when we were growing up. That the evil empire, the place that bangs its shoe.
Remember they said Khrushchev said, "I'll bury you."
Yeah. Well, and we had our lives, and we had our massive consumption in America, and supermarkets filled with 20 types of every kind of brand, and our idea of Russia.
Or Germany,
like
we had friends who came from Germany and they were saying the same thing, like the variety of brands. Well, we were in Italy and they had a lot of brands.
We were in Italy in 2012 or something. Come on, it's not even go to Italy in 1946. What did they have? So, but yeah, I didn't realize there was no problem having toilet paper in Russia. It wasn't soft and cushy. It wasn't cottonelle with the fluffy pillow pockets and stuff. But they had toilet paper. I didn't know. Did not know going in. So I'm like, I better, just in case, this toilet paper will get me through, God willing, a week in St. Petersburg, Russia. But the guy, the guard, the customs person is holding this up. And he's like, about the guy? And I'm like, yes, this is toilet paper. I know you people think this is rare. I know you people think this is like a gold watch. Even if I did, he didn't speak English. Right, so it's TP, it's toilet paper. What I didn't realize is he was kind of expecting it to be sort of a bribe. He kind of wanted to take it for himself, but I didn't understand this. I'm like, why is this guy making a problem?
You thought it was like the toilet paper police or something?
Yeah, I'm like, no toilet, and he ended up giving it back to me in like a huff. Yeah, kind of. It was just. One of those weird moments.
You should have pointed to your hiney and wiped, show
him
I
do this. But then he would have really thought it was for him, and I was insulting him. It was like, this is toilet, and this is how you use it.
From your colleague, like when you do this, it's rude. You have to do this.
Yeah. But I do remember the scarier part was because I was bringing so much, just in case it would not be there in St. Petersburg. Although St. Petersburg had pretty much everything that I needed. But I brought a scissor.
Why a scissor?
So that I will always have a scissor. It's handy to have a scissor. Yeah. I carry Scotch tape. I used to carry whiteout. I carried Band-Aids for sure. Aspirin, Tylenol. I mean, just, you're going to this strange place 35, 40 years ago. You're nervous or scared. You've never been anywhere else. You don't speak the language. And all you've ever heard about this country is that they're in scarcity, that there's a paucity of sometimes essentials. Mm-hmm. So you're going to bring essentials. And so I bring this little, not like a big pruning shear, but I bring a scissor just in case I have to cut stuff.
Like, what would you be cutting?
You never know.
Bushes?
If I ever need Scotch tape, I go, shoot.
You love Scotch tape in your bag.
Yeah.
You're like a hoarder.
Well, no, I want to make sure that when I need pens, I carry like 10 pens, always, everywhere. And this was the era long before cell phones or anything like that. So if you needed something, you needed it. And I just remember they confiscated it going on the plane. They sort of took it away. It's like, because and this was long before 9/11, but they took away scissors, sharp, semi-sharp object, boom, 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 and then totally forgot about it. And we get to land, and I think this wasn't even Russia. This might have been going to Czechoslovakia, but might have been Russia. We land, we get to the airport, went around getting our bags, then I hear my name on the PA.
How do they say it?
Yeah, well, probably David Lefkovich or Lefkovich, however,
They say Mr. Toilet Paper Man. To the American who won't give us toilet paper.
No, understand. I'm terrified going into this country. This country, don't forget, if it's Russia.
Why did you go?
Well, I'll get to that. But the remember, this is also a country, Russia, where Jews spent decades trying to get the hell out of.
Of course.
And I'm going in.
Right? You didn't get the memo, huh?
In elementary school, we marched. We literally, we went on Fifth Avenue and marched to get Soviet Jews out of Russia and to pressure the embassy and the consulate and to pressure, at that point, might have been Brezhnev or whoever came after him, a couple of those other folks, to let our people go. And of all places that I was going, in my mid-20s, right, not having been to any other countries, never having been to Israel, never having been, at that point, to London, to Paris. I mean, first place is the one place that made so many of my ancestors horribly miserable. And even in modern times.
I mean, Pop, I remember Pop, my great-grandfather spoke like 10 languages.
Yeah.
And I think he believes he was Polish, but he hated the invasion. He wouldn't speak Russian because he was forced to. He wouldn't speak it.
Exactly. I mean, there's going to be a generation of Ukrainians, no matter what happens with Russia now, that are not going to be very favorably disposed towards the Kremlin or to Russia in general. So I'm petrified. I want to be there because I want to have a life experience, and it's like, wow, I'm going to see Russia. It really was. It was my post-graduate gap year. Because it was I already got my master's. I'm like, what am I going to, let me, I'm not.
Where were you working?
I don't even know. I might have been unemployed at that point. So it was the perfect time to go. Yeah. So we went to Prague, and then we went to St. Petersburg. Did not go to Moscow.
Prague.
Yeah. Well, Prague was beautiful. Prague, and then got to Russia. I mean, I've told some of my Russia stories before. But again, so this is all that's whirring through my head. It's like, I want to get out of I want to get to the hotel. I want to have a safe, more than anything else. I wasn't thinking about food. I wasn't thinking about.
You stayed at a hotel, or you stayed with people?
Since in Prague, you're right. In Prague, we stayed in a hotel. In Russia, I stayed with a family. But suddenly, we're like waiting for our bags, and I get like, David Lefkovich, come, David Lefkovich. And I'm like, oh God, they know I'm Jewish.
Into the gulag with you.
That's right. I'm going to be sharing a cell with Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And what it was, I'm like, what? I'm almost shaking because, my personality. I'm like, what is? And then they hold up a plastic baggie, and is you. And I'm like, my scissors. They can confiscate, they can throw them out. They say, well, yeah, here are your scissors. Don't know why you bring scissors, but here they are. And they gave me back my scissors.
Did your scissors have a good trip?
They had a terrific time.
Your scissors probably went first class, movie.
They went first class. They partied a little bit because, they're gay blades. And so...
What? I'm trying to get the messenger up, and my hands are not good, and my eyes are not good yet.
That's not good, yeah.
No, I can't do really much.
So, and overall, first time, I went to Russia 2 times in fairly quick succession. First time was like November, and it was already winter. And it was really grim and snainy and rainy and bleak. And the people were lovely. But it was also like, nah. And then the second time, actually, I think, you know what? No. The first time I went to Russia, it was a hotel. Okay. And then when I went back a couple of months later, they put me with a family. So
they knew.
So that was, and then the second time I went to Russia, it was spring. And it was a whole, as it would be. Suddenly, all these buildings that look so kind of dingy and monotonous and scary. In the spring, when the sun was hitting them, it was like, whoa, St. Petersburg is beautiful. And it really is. It really, I mean, some of these buildings are just, and the Hermitage and all of that, and right on the Neva River. I would say, hey, you should go to Russia, but don't. Obviously, now, for many, many years, avoid. Even if you could go, don't go because of what they're doing. But it's that thing of do not really hold the Russian people accountable for what Putin and his cohorts are doing. It really is true because it's so easy to hate, like, well, that country, Russia, is doing this. And it's like there's millions of Russians who just, they want to eat, they want to go to restaurants, they want to drink, they want to have sex, they want to work and do and so forth.
Yeah, but you feel like,
What?
It's endemic of a culture.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I mean, Russia has been, one of the miseries of the last couple of centuries.
I mean, it's scary. This idea, it's like manifest destiny. It's like, it's like recolonizing. I mean, it's upsetting.
Yeah. And it's what so many countries did in the 1800s. It's what England did in the 14, 15, 1600s. It's what America did to get the United States.
Every country has, blood on their hands.
Yeah, I don't know about Luxembourg. Luxembourg has a little bit of plasma and maybe some snot.
Ew.
But other countries, for sure. Other countries, absolutely, with the whole blood thing. Welcome, by the way, to Dave's Gone By, if you're having breakfast. I'm Dave Lefkowitz. I don't really know Afghan hounds. I just got this mug because it's big enough for my coffee. I'm more of a dachshund lover myself, and I love doing this this show. It's called Dave's Gone By. It's our 843rd episode, and notice that we are calling it High Noon. Not Noon, but High Noon. Spelling it like this because our guest in the Daverhood, in just, what does that have? Oh, not too far from now, we're going to have in the Daverhood another musical iconic legend. And we've had a couple quite recently on the show. We kind of stacked them together. So Judy Collins was on the program about a month and a half ago. And then only a couple of weeks ago, George Clinton, the founder of Parliament Funkadelic. Right, I mean, on this program, these people are coming. It boggles my mind sometimes, but it's true. So all of those, I'm going to pull this back a little bit so you even get more mise en scène. And then I can give myself a little less headroom.
Sending it to people in Messenger one by one.
Yeah.
This is like the...
And over the years, we've had people like Loudon Wainwright III, and Janice Ian has been on the program, and the great Tom Paxton.
I'm sending it to Stephen. He likes music.
Yeah, Christine Lavin, and oh my God, the late Oscar Brand. Just Robin Hitchcock has been on this. Jane Siberry has been on the show. I mean, just some Neil Sedaka. Okay. Over 20 years to get some legends on the show. Well, we've got another rock notable. And his name, as you can see, is Noone. No, it's not no one. It is the one and only Peter Noone. And if some of you are shaking their head, his name sounds familiar. Who's that? He's Herman. He is the guy. He is the face, the voice, the shaggy haircut of Herman's Hermits. That really delightful, underrated pop band that scored single after single in the mid to late 60s with Mrs. Brown, You've Got a Lovely Daughter, and No Milk Today, and Dandy, and It's the End of the World. I mean, if you want a really nice half hour to an hour, just go on YouTube, go on Spotify, whatever music choice you have, get the greatest hits of Herman's Hermits, right? And just throw that on, and you'll be, even if you're a lot younger than I am, you'll be shocked at how many of these songs will be familiar, how many are so catchy and you're happy to hear again, how great that sounds coming out of your speaker, whether you're at home or on a car radio. And then also do a little more exploring of Peter Noone's later work. He's made some music post Herman's Hermits, but essentially he's still Herman, right? And he owns up, he is it, he's fine with it, and he is touring with it. So you can go see Peter Noone live in concert. That's why he's going to be on the show today. He will be, let me make sure I have this information for you. Where is it and when is it? So he's doing two concerts next week or so. Next Thursday, March 31st, or I should say this coming Thursday, he's going to be at Sony Hall in Manhattan. And then on Sunday week, so not tomorrow, but next Sunday, he will be at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, Long Island. And they're the folks who helped set up the interview today between Rabbi Saul Solomon, the one, the only, the Jewish Rabbi Saul, because he gets to do so many of the interviews now. I'm sort of stuck in the cold. It's not fair.
I think
It's my show.
Yeah, but you know, you have to. It's like it's like your factory. It's like the DGB factory where you have to. As long as the rabbi doesn't get a gun and shoot you like Warhol, you're.
Yeah, no, it is that. Joyce is watching this documentary about Andy Warhol on that. But yeah, no, I mean that is. I guess this is the factory where I allow someone like Rabbi Saul Solomon, who is unpaid. Let's be honest. So he has as much grievance as Valerie Solanas.
About the Valentine's Day thing, so you're trying to give him a leg up.
Yeah, I'm not letting him. You know, this is his step up to fame.
Yes. So
Rabbi Saul does most of our interviews now, and he will be talking to Peter Noone, which is kind of cool because a little birdie tells me there is a connection, even though Peter Noone is certainly not Jewish. He may have an Israeli-connected wife.
Does he live in Great Neck?
I don't know. He does not live in Great Neck.
No.
I think he lives in the United States now, though. I'm not 100% sure about that. Well, we'll find out, because Rabbi Saul will be asking him a bunch of questions. And by the way, if you have questions about Rabbi Saul, and don't we all, remember that you can go to shalomdammit.com to hear his sermons. He calls them rabbinical reflections. To watch the TV show that he did for Long Island Cable TV about a decade or so ago. And also to see his stage show that he performed at the Richmond Shepherd Theater and at the Roy Arias Theaters in New York. Go to shalomdammit.com. It's all there. It's a wonderful site. So it will be a wonderful sight to bring Rabbi Saul back on this program this morning. And he's doing double duty. I said duty. And Dre's just saying, I hope not. Great minds, babe. Great minds. So yes, Rabbi Saul is also, post-Purim, he's going to look through the newspapers. He's got...
I didn't know Rabbi Saul could read.
Well, Hebrew. The problem is he reads Hebrew right to left and English left or something like that. Anyway, I screwed up that joke. But anyway, Rabbi Saul, he is the founder of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. In New York, on Long Island, there's been this proliferation of hard copy newspapers specifically for the Jewish community. It's like nobody else is printing newspapers anymore. Joyce and I, we lived in Greeley.
Did they have the daily? Remember in New York, they used to give you that thing every day when you get off the subway. What was it called?
I think there's still there's Metro and then there's AM New York.
Yeah, Metro. Yeah.
I think AM New York is still hard copy publishing. I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's been since I've been going back and forth to New York to know, right? So. But so all these newspapers are folding. They're being bought up. They're just being internet only. Although apparently the Village Voice is going to come back in hard copy, which is kind of interesting.
I love the Voice. That was just so much fun.
But the Jewish community, they must own like orchards of trees and printing presses because they're just printing out these 300-page newspapers every week. So you get the Five Towns Jewish Times, and what's the Jewish Home, and the Jewish this, and the Jewish World, and I'm thrilled. I think it's a wonderful thing, and that the advertising and the community can support this, right? In so many places where it's just become cost prohibitive.
But do you think it's advertising, like it's?
Well, of course, the papers are free.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, it's not like you have to plunk $1 down to buy this thing. It's in stacks.
I'm so disgusted with the New York Times that you have to pay. I mean, I'm not paying for the New York Times. I paid enough over my life when we used to get it delivered and stuff.
Well, how do you? I'm sorry, but how? I got issues with the New York Times too. But how do you justify not paying a place that's giving you news and information and opinion and editorial?
Have advertisers. That's what they're for.
Yeah, but back in the day when
we
you
have the interwebs, that gives us information. We don't pay the interwebs.
Yeah, but the Times is on the interwebs, and you're collecting the info from there. I mean, I don't want to pay.
You can't see a full story. It's like, really?
I know.
Give me some stories for free and let me be. I'm an educator, for goodness sake.
Well, how do you feel about artists on, God, I want to say iTunes. I don't even know if iTunes
iTunes.
exists. Spotify or and so forth. I mean, music. We're expecting it to be free now on YouTube on these.
A portion can be free. I mean,
right.
So with the Times, give me stuff on the internet free, but give me different versions in your paper that I pay for.
Well, what don't you get 10 articles free in the beginning of the month, and then they take it away?
Even the Chronicle.
Yeah, of course we hate it.
So the Chronicle of Higher Ed does the same thing, and people use it on Twitter, and they're like, "Don't post the Chronicle because you can't read the stories." So it's like, why post an intro to a story you can't read? It's like that's. Cool.
It's really it is annoying. Yeah. Well, I get things on my theater feed. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's an interesting story. I think I'll read that. And it turns out to be from a newspaper that has a paywall.
On your theater feed?
My feed.
You have theater feet?
I do have theater. I've got jazz hands and theater feet.
Wow.
Yeah. No, but I mean, I get the annoyance. Like I get a thing from, I think, the Denver Post. And it's like, oh, subscribe. It's only for a digital version of the Post. Get it for $1 a week or something for a 3-month special trial. And then I'm like, I'm not even in... I'm tempted because there was a story I wanted to obviously read in the Denver Post, but I'm not a Coloradan right now, so no. But I still want to read your story, and it's not fair of me to want to read your story, but I want to get it free because if I paid every place that is putting up content, if I wanted to read an article still in Rolling Stone, if I wanted something from the Washington Post or New York Magazine, which is now Vulture, and it's like
it's called Vulture.
With the culture section online is actually called Vulture, yeah.
Culture of culture.
So and it's like, if I were rich, sure, fine. I'll throw everybody $50 a year in order to get their content. Fair's fair. I want their stuff. They're providing the service. Pay it. It's not like I go into the supermarket and say, I expect milk. I want free milk.
Remember we were in Italy and the guy did that. He walked out with the stuff we were online paying, because I was always obsessed with getting like fresh fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
So I was standing online. It was like a hole in the wall, and the guy in front of us just left with food. He was Italian, and then everyone went out and got him. The people in the store went out, got him, and brought him back.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, of course. But at the same time, there are things that we expect and have grown accustomed to. So when we went to whether it was Ireland or Italy or somewhere, and you had to pay for ketchup.
Yeah, I think that's actually very good because it prevents waste. Like, we have so many packets of ketchup that we don't necessarily use.
We will. They stay forever.
I know. But what I'm saying is, like, instead of having excess, you just get what you want,
Yeah, but you can say that about sugar.
I agree, too. I think everything like that should be,
And it's like, it can get to the point where you're saying, well, I'm having a salad, but if you want oil.
The woman was like, what is it? ¿Cuánto se get, whatever packets? And you're like, one? She's like, whatever, 5 cents or whatever, and you're like, what? And it was like this.
Because I'm American.
I know.
I'm not Russian. I'm not used to ketchup starvation.
Out of your pocket, and been like,
but sometimes, yeah, okay, you do grab an extra ketchup when we're picking up food and stuff. These things are so well done, so well made that I have accidentally washed packets of ketchup in the laundry in my pants, right, or in my shirt, and it will come out. And it will be a pristine, perfect ketchup packet and still edible. And it'll taste a little soapy, but still, it's true. They're indestructible. After the Third World War, which is coming, humans will be gone. America will be, Russia will be, Europe will be gone. There'll be cockroaches, and the cockroaches will be starving themselves once the corpses all rot away because they'll try and get into these packets of ketchup and they won't be able to open them. So you just have these dying poor cockroaches after World War III, just tearing at the plastic packets.
That's how they speak?
Yeah.
What does that mean in cockroach language?
If I knew, I didn't take the cockroach Berlitz. I should have. I honestly should have. I feel sorry that I didn't take cockroach Berlitz when I could have. Anywho, what else did I want to tell you about this show? Oh, Rabbi Saul. Not only is he talking to Peter Noone, but he is going to be reading from his favorite little bits from these local Jewish, hyper-local almost, Jewish newspapers here.
That's the word I use in the book, and I'm so sick of it.
And that's what, hyper-local?
Yeah, like, it's like, really close. Yeah.
I know, but it's a good word.
I know, but it's also like, it's like played out,
I guess.
It's used to be played out.
But when the word fits, It fits. You know, nobody said, "Oh, I don't want to use the anymore." Just so many. I hear it so many times a day.
Yeah, but that is played out.
Yeah.
I love that and witch, but they're both played out.
That and witch, absolutely. I think Sabrina played that out because she was a teenage witch. But you know,
I'm a good witch, David. I'm a good witch.
That was comedy, and comedy always comes with a noise.
You're supposed to say I'm a sandwich.
Okay, so anyway, I'm still not happy with the framing of this. There we go. That's better.
Oh, you look great, honey. What's wrong with you?
No, I'm looking.
You know why? Because you're not used to wearing black. Normally, wearing colorful attire, so
yeah.
you're very like understated today.
Well,
that's why.
I'm dressed like a hermit.
Well, we're both.
Get it?
I think we're dressed opposites, which does.
Yeah, I'm wearing gray shorts, and Joyce is wearing. Joyce is my wife, by the way. She's wearing a gray top.
But I won't
Yeah, show. Come show those pretty boobs of yours.
No, just this. See.
Look at that.
The top color.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the pants color.
There's her pants. There's her foot.
The opposite.
Yeah.
That's sad, David.
I married that. There's no actual head. I just married the
Isn't that
every man's dream? Yes,
man's dream,
that's right.
Stepford
Not going there. But where are we going on the rest of this episode of Dave's Gone By? Well, don't forget that also we will have our Colorado Limerick of the Damned.
Did you say you're having the Noonie?
Yeah, of course. I mentioned Peter Noone. I've mentioned Rabbi Saul. Colorado Limerick of the Damned. It's a poem that I do every week about a different place in Colorado. It's a limerick. And is this one really horrible and disgusting, or is it cute?
I've only heard one that was cute marginally.
Marginally, thank you.
Cute in English.
Yeah, this one's gross, but you don't have to have the kids leave the room. So it's all right.
You should anyway. It's not a bad practice.
And we'll have our Today, Yesterday trivia quiz. So definitely stick around for that. There are 10 trivia questions. It's a lot of fun, and we play it with some of our usual panelists, David Sheward, Leslie Hoban Blake, and Vicki Quade.
Because you had last time, who won? David regained his title, but Leslie was absent.
Right.
So now she'll be back. She won the week before that. She tied with Vicki, right?
Something like that.
No, she tied with the guest.
I really should keep track of who wins week after week, so that if we have like a long-standing Jeopardy champion, if we have a Ken Jennings version of Today, Yesterday.
Know who that is, you know?
But anyway, we'll see who wins the game today, our Today, Yesterday quiz. And I think that covers about every. Well, and of course the segment that we're going to do right now before we bring Peter Noone into the Daverhood, we call it. Well, this is based on Joyce and I having lived for several years in northern Colorado in a happy little town called Greeley, Colorado.
Yeah, I'm going to stop inviting people because I can't.
Oh, I know you were still there. Oh, yeah.
So the joke is, I'm tired today because I told you that something that I wanted was in the closet when it was in the drawer. So Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I had to go rifling around through your drawers, which you enjoyed, actually. But you woke me up with a heart attack song.
I played the Wiggles Pufferbilly song, but it was hard because one of my volumes was way up and one of my volumes was way, so I didn't understand.
Unless you're 7.
Yeah.
Oh, you're getting a lot of thumbs up from the people.
On the Wiggles Pufferbilly song?
No,
or no?
They're writing on when I chat them and say that Peter Noone is on the show.
Yeah.
Then they're like, they're all giving you thumbs up, not in the chat, in the DM, the direct message.
Yeah, that's all right, fine.
Yeah, and I put a dancing king because you were talking about a king before. I don't know why I did that. So.
I did that. Anywho, the Greeley Tribune is a newspaper, a real newspaper that still publishes hard copy 4 times a week, and it's 24/7, of course, on the web. And one of the great things about this actual real community, well, it's more than a community, it's a city newspaper, is that they have 2 columns every week that are intentionally comical, based on real things. One is called Cop Log, based on phone calls that come into the Weld County Police Dispatch of people seeing weird things going on in their community, and also 100 years ago, where our friend of the Daverhood, Mike Peters, goes through the newspapers from 1922, 100 years ago, and finds things that we, to our modern eyes, go like, well, that's kind of cute or nostalgic, or just like, oh my God, life sure was different then, or sure was the same then. Anyway, we mix 100 years ago.
A picture of an icon of a tree waving.
Oh.
You know that she's gonna.
Well, this one for sure. Yeah.
Compared to when you see the emoji later, you'll be surprised.
So
it looks like such a cute tree, not a killer.
no,
This is the pre-killer tree.
You can't trust them.
This is like the accomplice that he's rearing. Like
you know what? You're making him feel like a sap. I'm just gonna play our theme song.
Don't be so piney.
The Greeley Crimes and Old Times here on Dave's Gone By. So as I said, it's this mix of these two articles from the Greeley Tribune that they have every week. Are you ready for some criminality, my darling? So, here we go. These things really happened, or phone calls came into the police department a week or 2 or 3 ago, for real, in northern Colorado. A man on 13th Street said that someone was tampering with his Xbox. He said when he played video games, the controller would freeze and a voice would ask, "How do you like that?" It's like, seriously, it's like, okay. I think that's a factory reset right there.
I love it.
Either that or it's like Linda Blair in The Exorcist. You pack your shit, you get out of the house.
No, but I want to see this. There is a show on either Peacock or Netflix where these are like, I don't play games, so I don't know. But it's like a game community where they all play together and then somebody actually kills. And then the gaming community, like, he puts an image of, like, what he did, like he did murder. And then all of the gamers try to find out.
That's a clever...
They solve it. They say, like, look in the background. We see this image. Like, they all try to...
that's a clever idea for a show, yeah.
Crowdthink?
Groupthink.
Like groupthink or crowdsource. Like, they try to get together and solve it. And I don't know if they do, but that's a good...
Yeah. I belong to a community where we just get on Zoom and we start breaking wind. And I call it group stink. Anywho.
Excuse me 1 second.
Oh, well, I say to that. Thank you. Okay. Another crime. Now, here's one of those things.
Okay.
This is one of those for me where it wouldn't be that funny. It'd be a little gross. It's a real story, a real thing. Yeah. But one word, I love these. One word makes this hilarious to me. Take out that word, change that word, it won't be. But one word, see if you can see which word it is. A caller on 14th Avenue reported 15 pit bulls living at a disgusting house with feces and hay everywhere. Which is the word that you think gets me?
Disgusting.
No, even though disgusting is quotes. No, because feces is always funny. The idea that there's 15 pit bulls living in a house, there's feces everywhere, there would be, but why would there be hay?
It's probably a barn,
I'm assuming it's inside the house. There's something funny about feces and hay together. Maybe it's like a 10th floor duplex.
Feces and hay, feces and hay.
And it's like the kitchen is really nice.
Feces and hay.
But the second bedroom, you don't really know that.
I'm sure that they're what do you call it? It's like, it's like a farm. It's like a farmhouse.
I'm guessing. Well, it's on 14th Avenue. I don't know how farmy it would be around that time. Wow. But feces. Can we get some feces and some hay?
No, thank you.
That's the problem. There isn't a one-stop store. Maybe actually you can. Manure. You could probably get manure and hay in some of those places in Colorado. So I'm wrong about that.
I agree. I think that we should have more of whatever that is that you're talking about.
Feces and hay are us. It'd be a great mega store, wouldn't it?
I'll tell you, David. So my mother grew up in Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah.
In a small town. I never thought I would encounter many of the things we did, but feces and hay and a pit bull ranch. That's a. I remember when our friend Tony, her like child's father, he would take pictures. He was from New York. Stop and take pictures of cows and stuff. Like it was very surreal.
Yeah, no, I would love to. I would take pictures.
We used to pass the llamas, the donkeys, and all the sheep, or that big sheep thing. Yeah.
Remember, I used to punch donkeys. It was
I remember we used to stop in the hotel, the breakfast place, and you got your the squid pasta.
Oh, the squid ink. We didn't really have that for breakfast, but we had for lunch on the squid ink pasta. Yeah. I did enjoy that. Anywho, I'm going to enjoy this next item from Greeley Crimes at All Times. A caller.
Oh, wait, hold on.
I see the phone. Oh, the phone's been quiet so far. Here we go.
Well, the phone ring had to change because we can't wake in the work potato.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Please don't.
We actually have a potato taskmaster today who's making sure we work very, very hard.
Yes.
Keep at it. Good job. Thank you, Potato.
At least there's some positive reinforcement.
Potato, I'm on the phone. Hold on. I'm multitasking here. A caller on 16th Street, said a man who appeared to be running came to her door. Either he's running or he's not. I'm not sure how he appeared to be running. He asked if she had a place where he could smoke a joint, if she had food, and if she lived alone. Boy, romance is really dead, I gotta tell you. It's like, can I smoke a doobie? Do you have any food I can eat? And then you live
That's
alone?
just the basic Saturday night at college, right? Isn't that what, you know?
Pretty much.
What's that place the fried place that used to have everything fried, remember?
Oh, you mean Bruce's Bar?
It was around the corner. They opened it, and everything was fried. They fried Oreos.
Yes.
It was like fat somebody's, and all they did was fry.
Yes.
They're like, we'll fry a Snickers bar. We'll fry Oreo cookies.
It wasn't called Fat Burger, but it was something along those lines, we were joking last time about the heart attack grill in forget what, Texas probably. A woman in Greeley reported her ex-boyfriend called her a derogatory term in the snow outside her house. So did he call her that, or did he write it?
I think he wrote it probably with pee-pee.
That's what I'm thinking. And what term? Because you have to drink a lot of coffee and lemonade if you want to do some of those terms. Some of them with compound words with hyphens and stuff. And some of the words are just there's a C word that's 4 letters. It's quick. You can even do block letters in script. But I don't know. I'm just wondering. Now, we've done a couple of Greeley crimes. Let's do one or two old-timey things. These happened, or these were reported in the newspaper 100 years ago. I don't know if you knew this. 100,000 pounds.
Honey?
What? Talk to me. What?
We have a breaking news. Today,
yeah,
your cousin Jody is excited to announce her ebook, Toilet Tube Treasury, goes on sale. David?
This is my cousin. I have a cousin.
It's all about toilet tubes.
I gotta get her on the show.
Yes,
I do have a cousin, Jody.
You have to get Jody on the show. So Jody's book, and she made a dachshund. One of her toilet tube treasury items is a dachshund.
Oh, so you neglected to mention that she makes artwork out of toilet paper rolls.
Look here.
I didn't know what toilet tubes were. Here we go. Oh, this is.
See the dachshund? I'll show you.
Wow.
I'm gonna write back and say, Jody, David wants you on his show.
Absolutely. Wow. Jody used to actually work for Martha Stewart magazine. She was on Martha Stewart's show a couple of times. Very craftsy, and delightful. I was going to call her a girl. She's in her 40s now. But, my cousin Jody. So, yay for her. Go get her book. Was it Toilet Tube Ideas? When I think of toilet tubes...
Toilet Tube Treasury.
Toilet Tube Treasury. Yeah. What I've done to toilet tubes, nobody's going to treasure that. That's for sure. But, anywho... 100,000 pounds of split beans are stored in a warehouse here. This was written in the paper back in 1922, preparing for a shipment to Armenia. The beans have retained their food value and will make good soup.
She will know David's not her brother. I'll say cousin David.
Cousin David, yeah, she knows who I am.
No, but she has a brother too, the same name.
So beans to Armenia. Also, this came through. This was a letter published in the papers 10 decades back. The Wells County Jail needs a workroom for the inmates. That way, farmers could bring their beans to the building and prisoners would have to sort them out. That would save the county some money. I guess back in the day, Greeley didn't amount to a hill of beans.
Family obsessed with
toilets? Yes. Because toilets are fun and toilet tubes are very, very handy to make fun stuff with. I'm surprised she doesn't do, and paper towel tubes are too big, right?
Why doesn't she maybe that'll be her next book.
Maybe.
Maybe that's hinted.
I think her next book, she actually gets her tubes tied. So,
God, David, don't say that.
I'm just saying. I don't know what I'm saying. Hey, want to let you know that 100 years ago, the Bradfield Oil Company donated 1,000 gallons of oil to the city to spray on pools and lakes in Greeley. It is believed that the oil will kill the mosquitoes, which are certainly coming this spring and summer. So is that what they used to, did they used to take like petroleum and home heating oil and gasoline and spray it on places people swim and drank water from? So yes, I get the idea of not wanting mosquitoes. It's a weird thing because Colorado is so
I guess it's better
dry.
Than DEET.
Yeah.
It's better than DEET.
Yeah, I guess it is. It was pre-DEET. That's what they used to do. But that was one of the negative shocks about living in Colorado. We figure it's so dry there. There's drought. There's this and there's that, and then you still get mosquitoes. What are they living on? Where's their swampy? In Colorado, they used to spray before they had the parade on July 4th. They spray. They warn people, don't go out.
Is that why I grew that third eye in my seventh finger?
I'm afraid that's your rectum hole.
Oh, thank you.
It's a brown eye. It's very different.
Thank you, honey.
You're very welcome, dear. Hey, let's go to, guess where we're going. We were talking about Russia before for obvious reasons. We have an elsewhere story related to the war between Russia and Ukraine. So we go for an odd story far from Colorado all the way to Moscow, Russia. This is a story, I guess it was from AP or one of the other news services. A Russian man was not loving it that McDonald's was about to shutter all of its 850 stores in the country.
No more McRib.
What do you think he did?
He attacked somebody?
Not quite, no. He chained himself to a McDonald's in Moscow. The Golden Arches fan, identified as Luka Safronov, was filmed staging his protest. He said, quote, now, remember, this is a man who does not want to live without his McDonald's. Closing down is an act of hostility against me and my fellow citizens, Safronov yelled as other customers flocked inside to grab the last Big Macs before the chain closed down. Wait, I am protesting here. We're hungry.
I'm protesting, but is order 37 ready?
You have the cherry pie still.
Did you call 37? I missed my number.
Police.
I did on DoorDash. DoorDash 37.
Oh my God. It's like Insta protest. So police eventually dragged Safronov away, which was no easy feat. You have to see the video on this. Did I mention that the guy seems to weigh about 400 pounds, soaking wet?
Oh, no. See, that's bad.
Yeah. I'm guessing he's not thrilled about the Coca-Cola boycott either.
I feel for him.
Oh, yeah.
That may be a blessing.
Oh, yeah. They interview him in 2 weeks from now, and he's down to 212 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, that may be actually a good. His blood sugar may normalize. I mean, he might have a really good.
Yeah, meanwhile, he's just still sitting on the couch. Broccoli! I'm eating all this fucking broccoli!
Remember the Morgan Spurling or whatever, that guy?
Morgan Spurlock, yeah.
Spurlock, he got really sick, so.
Well, because he ate McDonald's. Well, I assume this guy does too. Only broken up by the occasional bleenie,
I wonder, did they ever get the woman? Oh, they got her. The woman who killed Barbara Meyer.
Gustern, yeah.
Had been arrested.
She's just some crazy white lady who...
I still don't understand any of this.
She pushed her to the side, which was probably in a moment of COVID craziness, and just went boof, and don't push it. An 87-year-old woman walking along the sidewalk. She sustained injuries and died. This troubled white chick probably had no concept.
They said a fight with her fiance. I'm going to read it in the Gothamist. Someone sent us the link.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's an awful story, and she deserves to go to prison. But, her lawyers are arguing, this is hilarious, that it's like, look, it's not as if she pushed her off a plane. It's not as if she pushed her off a Ferris wheel. This woman was walking on the sidewalk, pushed her out of the way, she fell, and oops.
Jeff, honey. She's from
Port Jefferson. Oh, she's a Long Islander yet.
Mm-hmm. Maybe the rabbi can intercede.
Crazy. No, not on her behalf. You don't push old people like that. You don't do that.
Very good.
Unless you're really, really angry. Or you really need to get to the buffet.
She was on 28th, between 8th and 9th, close to her apartment in Chelsea.
Yeah. I wish I had an apartment on 28th.
She shoved her to the why would you shove anybody?
Because you're having a bad, crazy
Yeah, but you shouldn't
day.
touch people. Like,
No
be
kidding.
like Warhol. Don't touch people.
Yeah, I've had people punch me. You know, thank God I didn't sustain one. First thing I went to when some guy punched me was I went to the eye doctor because I was seeing like a floater thing and was worried about a concussion.
Well, she said, I've never been hit so hard in my life. Before the woman died, she said she shouted a derogatory term before assaulting her. What was the term?
Wait, who shouted the derogatory term? The old woman or
the young girl
no,
who hit her?
God no, it could be a hate crime.
She was awake and then she slipped into unconsciousness, was taken to Bellevue, right near where I live.
Yeah.
Her grandson wrote on Facebook that she had suffered traumatic damage on the left side of her brain and she died the 15th.
Yeah. Maybe the woman should have your voice lessons were terrible. I was hoarse for a week, and it just made her crazy. Like,
wow.
Yeah. These are the times we live in.
So I'm looking to see what he said he was holding her hand, brain injury, unconscious. Oh, she's intubated. Yeah.
Well, yeah. No, I'm sure it's like the New York Post and these other outlets were so disappointed when they found out that this person who shoved this old woman and killed her was not a crazy black man. They said, it's a middle class, probably semi-upper class white lady. Well, I guess we still have to cover the story. Doesn't fit into our narrative.
Bob. They used to call her Bob. That's cute.
Bob?
Bob. Yeah, Barbara. Bob. Maybe that's how they.
Bob. Yeah. No, because I on my Facebook feed of all these actresses and all these people who took voice. I have a lot of theater people on my feed.
Apparently, a lot of people. It says.
Yeah.
It says here, Diamanda Galas, Blondie's Debbie.
She's
Harry.
alive?
No,
who studied with her.
Who studied with her. Diamanda Galas, Blondie's Debbie Harry, and the cast of Daniel Fish's 2019 Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at that. And that was 3 years ago. She was doing voice lessons.
Recent. They have a long. Yeah. What did she shout though?
They're not printing it. They're not saying it.
Why not?
I don't know what she would have called her. It's like old Jewess. I don't know.
That's what I'm asking.
What horrible thing can you call critic? I don't know. Anyway, oh my God, it's almost 5 to 10. We gotta get our guest into the Daverhood. His name, well, you know it. It's Peter Noone on this high noon edition of Dave's Gone By. Rabbi Saul Solomon is going to be talking to him momentarily on the show. I just want to remind you that you're watching Dave's Gone By here on this Facebook page, the Dave's Gone By Facebook page. For more information about the show, go to davesgoneby.com. I just have to minimize a bunch of things here in order to share my screen and then share an interview between Rabbi Saul Solomon of Temple Sons of Bitches and Herman's head hermit himself, Peter Noone. Enjoy. Wait, if it would open. This would be good if it opened. It is opening. Now, we just maximize it.
Sure, David, you move your cursor away so people can see the full thing.
It's a little longer than I thought it was, but hey, more fun, more cool stuff with Rabbi Saul and Peter Noone. Oh, shalom, my friends, shalom, my enemies. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder and spiritual leader of Temple Sons of Bitches in Great Neck, New York. And I am so thrilled. Look at that smile, that multi-million-dollar smile that everybody has known for decades, because I know you
made me laugh, Rabbi.
Herman, what? I mean, what? Hello? Shalom? What? What did you say? I heard you. Oh, no, you're not muted. I heard you saying, and then I interrupted you because that's what I always do. But you want to call him Herman? He's actually Peter Noone. Let me tell you something about this man. Herman's Hermits, the band he was originally in, sold 60 million records with great pop numbers like I'm Into Something Good, I'm Henry VIII, I Am, Silhouettes, Can't You Hear My Heart?
Rabbi, I'll do the singing.
If you want to spend a half hour just singing, I'll just sit back and listen. This would be lovely.
No, but you started to sing I'm Henry VIII, and you're not. I'm Henry VIII. You're a rabbi.
Well, or I could be Henry the IX. You never know. We could have had a Jewish son. These things happen. We don't talk about them when they happen. But here's the deal. You can see Peter Noone talking to me now, but if you want to hear him sing, the real place to go is two different places if you're in and around New York. On Thursday night, March 31st, he will be at Sony Hall in Midtown Manhattan. Or, you know what, if you don't want to go to New York, you don't want to get on the subway and get stabbed by a homeless guy, wait until April 3rd. He will be at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, Long Island. But either way, we have with us in the Daverhood right now, Peter Noone. Shalom!
Rabbi, shalom.
How are you? You look fantastic. How's life? How are things?
You know, it's extraordinary, really, because there was a few years there where it got worse and worse and worse. Remember, we hit in California, we had a mudslide, then a fire. Or I'm not sure what order it was in, but it was like the tempest, and rocks came down off the mountains, and they weren't being carried by anybody. They were just rocks rolling down the mountain. Then we had a flood, and then we had a mudslide, and then we had everything. It was just, and then we had a pandemic.
Yeah,
and now, I can't remember what was before the flood and the mudslide now, because people just sort of move on from disaster to disaster. So I've just been singing my songs, which are, Rabbi, my songs were all uplifting, except for one, The End of the World. But most of them were uplifting. Woke up this morning feeling fine. Something tells me I'm in something good. Wonderful world.
No milk today. Well, if you're lactose intolerant, that's good. But
there's a kind of hush all over the world. There was a lot of like up songs. So they seem to work better now than ever.
Then, although are you living in your car, or are you just in your car for a moment? I'm kidding. But
I'm in my car. I'm in my car in a place called Ojai, where my agents are. They have an office in it's called Paradise Artists, and they're in Ojai. And I came over here to meet them, and then I was reminded that I have to speak to Rabbi Shlomo, so I called you from my cell phone in my car.
And it's working beautifully, and it's fantastic, and it's delightful to see you. And how? Let me ask you something. Look at this head. I lost my hair when I was 4 years old. How do you have that's your real hair? How do you do it?
This could be a sheitel, You never know.
Wait, how do you know these words?
You never know. What it is I think my dad was a trombone player in a band, and he had long hair when no one had long hair, and it wasn't as long as this, but I think I inherited his hair. I didn't inherit his love of the trombone, but I do like hair. I'm glad I've got it, but what I've found, Rabbi, is that you should never ever mention hair or weight if there's any bald or fat people in the room.
Well, good luck. Then you never ever mention hair or weight, because
there you go.
With 3 people, I get it.
You know that's right.
Yeah, there you go. And then in terms of my sermons, I shouldn't mention stupidity, because I'm surrounded. I don't like to talk badly about my congregation, but I do. But this is about you, Peter Noone. Let me ask you, and let's get this out of the way, because you told us 4 million times. You probably should tell it 4,000,001. You got your nickname from, in a manner of speaking, Rocky and Bullwinkle. Just get it over with. Just tell us. I know.
Okay, no, it's a nice story.
Yeah.
We were rehearsing in a pub in England, a public house, which served alcohol, and obviously we were too young to drink, but we were rehearsing there, and we were called Pete Novak and the Heartbeats, and I thought I did a pretty good job of Buddy Holly, and we were going to be like a Buddy Holly tribute band, even though there were no tribute. It hadn't been invented, that idea yet. But I put on these horn-rimmed glasses, a bit better than these, bit more like yours, but I had hair and I wasn't as fat as you. But I put these glasses on. And I was going, "What little things you say and do," doing all that Buddy Holly stuff, And the guy who owned the pub, called Publican, came over and he said, "Ooh, what are you trying to do up there?" I said, "Oh, look, Buddy Holly." He said, "You don't sound or look like Buddy Holly. You look like that Herman from the Bullwinkle Show." And he meant Sherman and Professor Peabody, who were two characters, and there was a short, bespectacled kid, but the dog was smarter than him, as in real life. And everybody in the band, the Heartbeats they were called, started to laugh, like over-the-top laughter. And he said, "And you're the Heartbeats? You should call yourselves the bloody Hermits, because you look like hermits, dressed like hermits or something." So that man created Herman and the Bloody Hermits. We dropped the bloody, and eventually we became Herman's Hermits, but that stayed, and I still look a little bit like Sherman from the Professor Peabody show, an older version.
Well, let me, you brought up, you're in a pub, served by a publican. There you go. And this idea, though, ironically, on some level, I remember there was a story about you that they were so afraid of the image of the band that you had to flush, like, sinsemilla seeds down the toilet. And yet, ironically, you were so much less drugged or anything else than a lot of your cohorts in the 60s. So is this is it true?
Yeah, but we were overeducated for the situation that we were put into. We were all, we weren't really lower working class yobbos, although you had to pretend to be. And I think it's kind of significant that Mick Jagger also was overeducated for the role he played of, like a Cockney vagabond. Hello, all that stuff. And what happened was we were still in school, and we decided that we would be ourselves. We weren't going to be the Sex Pistols in the wrong clothes. We were going to be, Peter Noone is Herman is Peter Noone, and Derek Leckenby was Derek Leckenby. His dad was a policeman. Keith Hopwood's dad was a telephone engineer. My dad was a trombone player who became an accountant, because all trombone players need a full-time job. And we were all sort of very comfortable at being who we were. And that was kind of pretty, I think Derek Leckenby quit his last year at university. He was going to be a civil engineer, to be in Herman's Hermits full time. And I quit school to be in Herman's Hermits full time. But although I wasn't doing well at school, I was a great student, and I listened to the important stuff, and in those, I went to a Jesuit kind of boys hard-nosed school, because my father thought they'd fix me up. Send us a boy and we'll send you back a man. Well, they sent in a boy and they got back a boy. And I stayed a boy for a long time, I didn't grow up until I was maybe 40.
Wait, let me stop you. What was the pivotal moment? What suddenly made you realize was it having a kid? Was it?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When my daughter was born, I decided that, I'd better, singing Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter, it becomes less and less appropriate as you approach the age of 80. Now I've relived the 60s. I've lived the 60s twice, in age and in thing, and I've the 70s and the 80s and 90s, and now now it's even more difficult to sing Mrs. Brown, You Got a Lovely Daughter. But I grew up and I realized that I wasn't the person in the song anymore. I was singing about the person in the song, and that works for me. The show got much better when I wasn't pretending to be someone else.
You acted. You were in, what was it, Pirates of Penzance? So you know what it is to play you playing Herman, playing you. It's there's all these little layers that you can keep adding as you get older. That's a cool thing, no?
Well, yeah, and of course, over the years, when I quit school, I did not quit learning. So, I read books, and I read Stanislavski and The Method and Living in the Moment, and I read, all that Hare Krishna, and I constantly read and studied, kind of, because my nature. And I think I got better as a person by listening to other people's version of what they think is reality. And in the end, I found out that I'm a tourist. I just love touring. I love to go to towns, and I will know a lot more about that part of New York where the Sony room is after I played there, because I'll be a tourist. I'll wander around and I'll go in and out of shops, and you know example here, I did before I called you, I went for a little walk in this countryside here in Ohio, which is really beautiful. And I'm humility is explained as having the ability to listen and learn. I'm always ready for it. I'm not quite Mensa yet. Have been. When I was about 18, I was definitely Mensa product. But now I don't know.
I remember when my wife used to have menses, but that's very, very different. That's thank God she's over that after all these years. Let me tell you, Thank you very much. So speaking of listening and daughters, am I right about this? That you do still, first of all, have your show on Sirius XM, like once a week you were doing a Saturday. You still doing this? Can people hear it and listen? Oh, yes, people can still hear it. Oh, can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I'm saying you still have your show on Sirius XM radio, do you?
Yes, I do on Saturdays. It's very, very successful, and I enjoy doing it because I get to talk about my friends and about this period, a musical renaissance period where people that you would meet in a nightclub in London all turned into becoming fantastic artists and songwriters and creative. It was a very good period to have been a child in. I was a kid. I was 16, 17, 18 during 64, 65, 66, when all that, the Beatles and the Stones and the Dave Clark Five and Jerry and the Pacemakers. And a little known fact about England is that it's a very small country. And we all kind of knew each other. We didn't necessarily like each other's music, but we liked each other because we had a common denominator, that we all liked music and played it and earned a living playing music, which was like a dream come true for most people. And, it's great I get to talk about it, and I get to talk about Dave Clark Five, and I get to, and I say this thing in the show that my mother told me: if I don't have something nice to say about somebody, don't say anything at all. So then I just play their record.
Well, fair enough. But is there who of those people, legends that we would know now, that you came up with, was your favorite as a chum? Maybe you like their music, but the best person to hang out, the funniest times, the most enjoyable.
Well, there's loads of them, because if you're in a band and somebody else is in a band, you rarely are in the same town at the same time. Most of the people that I knew were not in the music business. Most of my friends were. I had a friend who was a journalist for the New Musical Express, which was like Rolling Stone, but without any attitude. It was just kind to music, and he was my friend. And I had a friend who worked for a movie company, and he'd travel the world, and we'd sometimes find ourselves in London. I was a fan of the Beatles, so any chance I got to hang around with the Beatles, I would take it as an opportunity. And I was an enthusiast, so people would not really want me to be around because I was like a fan. For example, I did a TV show with the Rolling Stones in Birmingham, and at the end of the TV show, I'm standing talking to Brian Jones, who was one of the nicer members of the Rolling Stones, nicer to me at the time. And at the end of the show, I saw them all leaving, and I said, where are you guys going? Or where are you boys going? Whatever people said, whatever was the phrase, where are you lads off to? And they looked at me like, we're going back to London. And I said, can I come with you? And I could see that they really did not want this 17-year-old kid in the car with them. But they had to take me because I'd asked, okay. And I got in the car, and I sat in the front seat of the car, in the middle seat, like the child seat, a big American car. And they took me back to London, and we chatted all the way there. And they had a crazy driver who would brake. He had a hammer that he would lean out of it was a left-hand drive car, and he would lean out of the window with this hammer and break the wing mirrors off cars as we passed it. And all the Rolling Stones would go, yeah. And I'd be thinking, oh, I hope we're not going to pass my grandparents' car in a minute. You know what I mean? Oh, gosh. And that was it. You know, like the Beatles would be on a TV show and I'd go to their dressing room and try and hang out with them, you know, like, hey, fellas, hi. And I met everybody like that. I met Elvis Presley, and he was fantastic. Elvis Presley was the most unlikely person to turn it. He punked us. Elvis Presley punked us. He was in a Hawaiian village, and he was making a movie, Paradise Hawaiian style. And me and Barry, the drummer, we get in a car, and it's 5 o'clock in the morning over all the mountains, and we come to what is known as a real Hawaiian village where people live in those beautiful grass huts, and you know, rock-a-hula, rock, and they say he's in that hut over there. We go in the hut, and there was this strange guy dressed, but completely drunk and down and dirty and laying face down in the soil. And we didn't know what to do because we were like, oh my God, what you do is standing around and in walks Elvis. And the guy on the floor gets up and it's his stunt double from the movie. And they all laugh at us because we fell for it 100. We didn't even know what a stunt double was. So we got completely punked. And, you know, it's refreshing, you know, and I will tell you, Rabbi, that most of the people that I met that I liked before I met them, I liked them more after I met them. I liked Elvis Presley much more when I found out he was funny and smart, and, you know, because they'd always played him as being some dumb truck driver, you know, and he was really bright and funny, you know, and like not only the king of rock and roll, but also kind of the king of repartee, which shocked us. You know, he had a good comeback line for everything that we said, like the Beatles, like that kind of speed thinking, comedy speed thinking. So, you know, I liked him. I liked John Lennon, and John Lennon would buy me drinks when we'd go out together and stuff like that, even though I wasn't old enough. And, you know, I was basically a fan of whatever they represented, really. You know, he was a great. When I first saw the Beatles in 1963, John Lennon was the lead singer of the band, and the other guys were his backing group. I mean, it really was like that. So I watched him in the show, and I saw his great energy with the others, like the way he shared moments with everybody, and they laughed at each other on stage. And I sort of copied that in my band. That whole, I didn't have a guitar, so I used to hide behind the microphone stand, and I liked him generally. And remember, he became another person. At the beginning, he was very, very good fun and very, very lively and a great amount of spirit. And I guess he listened to one Bob Dylan record and decided that he would be the Vox Pop, you know, and it was much more fun when he was kind of more arrogant.
Oh, wow. Did you ever meet Dylan? Did you ever have any words with him?
With John Lennon?
No, did you ever meet Dylan? Did you ever meet Bob Dylan? Or
no, yeah, I met him a few times. You know, we went to see a band in New York somewhere, and I think it was the Young Rascals. And I was sitting on a table, and it was John Lennon, Bob Dylan, and Captain Beefheart.
Oh my God! Yes.
All sitting on a table, and you know, you could tell Bob Dylan didn't want to talk. He was very uncomfortable. He was very uncomfortable, and John Lennon wanted to talk to him. So I got Captain Beefheart, and we enjoyed the band. You know, I mean, it's a weird thing. I'm still kind of put off by people who talk during somebody's performance. You know, you wouldn't do it. You know, it puts me off. I don't mind them shouting out and singing along, and that's all great. Or in between the songs, shouting out and making me be a Don Rickles. But, you know, I don't think it's appropriate. You know, it was a presentation of this new band, and I thought we should all be stum and listen to them until they finished what they had to say in the song and be impressed or not impressed, and then applaud, and then thank you by shutting up. You know what I mean? So it was a weird night.
Yeah, Bob Dylan was being he was being very respectful of the performer, whereas maybe Beefheart and Lennon not so much, right? Is that
I think John Lennon understood that as well, because they came up the same way. The Beatles came up from the same place as me, and Bob Dylan did. You're playing in clubs where people have got you want people to listen. We used to do this place, and I remember the guy's name, and because my dad was an accountant, for some reason, even though I was only 15, I was sent to get the money. Who knows why I would be the youngest person in the band, but I was the guy who managed the money. So I go to this guy's name was Bob Wooler, and he said, "How much did I say I was giving you?" So I said, £6. It's just like $8, £6. And we needed the gig. It was the Cavern, the engagement. And he said, "I'm giving you £4." I said, "Well, we made a deal, £6." He said, "Yeah, but people were dancing. If people dance while you're on stage, then I could just play a record. Why do I need to pay a band? I could put the record on and people can dance." So okay. So now we got to get a show where people don't dance, or they only dance for a bit, and then you do the end of the world, and they have to stop dancing and just listen, and then you tell a story, and they got to listen. And so the Beatles had come up the same way, and I'm sure Bob Dylan in those clubs in the village would have to capture people's attention. So then when you go and see a band whose job is trying to capture your attention, you remember how hard it is for that band to keep focus, keep the audience focused on you.
What was
Mick Jagger runs around.
Was there pressure on Herman's Hermits and you guys around 67, 68 to branch out to be more psychedelic, to do concept albums of Sgt. Pepper and all that?
Yeah, everyone was doing it, but you remember a bit later everyone did a disco album, and a bit later everybody, we just knew who we were. It's really good we didn't know where we were going. We had no plan. Like normally a band has a plan. We were like the Sex Pistols, and we were living one day at a time, and let's try and make hit records. Let's try and make hit records, and that's all we were doing. We just hit singles as well. The album thing was never part of our. We never made an album. Our album was songs that didn't quite make it as singles, and then other people made them into singles. Like on our album, there'd be Bus Stop, and the Hollies would have a number one with it, and For Your Love, and then the Yardbirds would have a number one with it, but our albums were just like, it didn't quite make it as a single, so let's put it on the album with the singles.
Can I give you a compliment? And I feel, and will say this to anybody, that the Herman's Hermits version of the song Dandy is actually better than the Kinks version. And the Kinks friggin' wrote it. So that is, I think, pretty neat. That's a bit of a credit to the guys, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think their version is as good as mine either, but what happens is sometimes a song that isn't very good gets saved by the artist, and there's multiple versions of that. And
well, the Rockin' Vickers do it really, really well, if you've ever heard them.
Yeah, Lemmy did it. He's great. It's funny that Lemmy did a version, isn't
Lemmy it? Before Motorhead, that's right. But yeah, I think it's a pretty good song. But it's interesting that you actually outshone Ray Davis and the folks. Is everything okay? Are birds pooping, attacking your car, or what's going on over there? Is it? Oh,
and my wife is just getting in the car. I'm opening the door, so I'll let her in.
Shalom, wife.
There's my wife.
I don't quite see her yet, but we'll say a good.
She's getting in. There she is.
Hello, wife. I'm Rabbi Sal Solomon. What's your name?
My name is Mireille.
Mireille? Oh, French. Oh, my goodness. Oui.
Yeah. She's the only French girl. She's the only French girl who can read Hebrew backwards.
That's the only way to read Hebrew, because
she gets the book and she opens it at the back.
Thank you. That's very funny. How did you guys meet? Either of you can answer.
My wife.
Yeah.
We both went to a nightclub where Jimi Hendrix was supposed to show up. She was visiting her mother in London, and we both ended up in a nightclub, and that's how we became. And we danced, and then I followed her around the world to try and get her to marry me.
And Jimi Hendrix never showed up that night?
He did.
He did, yeah.
And how was he? You saw Jimi Hendrix live. How was it?
He was always great. He was a lovely man. He was a really nice guy.
Yeah, very nice.
People don't understand that, sometimes people on stage aren't who they are in real life. He was a really nice, pleasant gentleman.
Well, I'm glad to hear. I'm not looking for horrible stories unless you want to tell one, or if the person.
I don't have any.
You know, I'd love to hear great stories about people that we hear about that are legends. We don't know them. We never saw them in the flesh. You did, and you hung with them sometimes, which is pretty amazing. So,
yeah, I was lucky because you know, I was a kid, remember, so people they accept you in the room, you know, because they go, he's just a kid, he doesn't know what he's doing, you know, he doesn't know he's not supposed to be here. I remember I went to Paul McCartney's dressing room once on a TV show, and he was in there talking to George Martin, who was the Beatles producer, and I walked into the dressing room, you know, I wasn't asked in, I just walked in, and they were having a chat, and they looked over at me like, okay, hello. And I said, what are you guys talking about? And Paul McCartney, always the gentleman, said, well, we're talking about compression. And to make the conversation carry on, I said, what's compression? And he explained, like on a Fats Domino record, when he's playing the piano and singing, you can't hear the piano, you can't, well, we're using compression so you can hear the guitar and the singer and the drums all at the same time, which is a good so compressing waves. And he's going on nicely, and then George Martin looks at me, and this show that they were doing was people who'd recorded a Beatles song, and it was Ella Fitzgerald and Matt Monro and Henry Mancini and all those big shots. And George Martin said, which Beatles song have you recorded, Peter? And I go, oh, okay, see you later.
Well, okay.
There you go. It was the gentleman's way of getting me out of the room.
All right. Look, you know, you got to hang with them several times over. What can I ask you, what is the greatest concert that you ever saw as a fan? You saw Ike and Tina Turner, you saw like so many people. What blew your mind?
You know, I was once on a show at Wembley, and I was on the show, but it can still blow your mind because all the other people on the show. And once upon a time, a concert had like 20 different people on the show. You know, you could see Del Shannon and Bobby V and Ike and Tina Turner and Fats Domino, and they would all be on a bill, and they'd all come out and do 10 minutes, right? And I did a show at Wembley with the Beatles, the Stones, the Yardbirds, the Kinks, the Searchers, Cliff Richards and the Shadows, and we all watched each other. We all stood at the back and watched each other go on stage, and you know, did that thing. Oh, I bet he owns the van, and all that stuff that bands do. You know, bitchy stuff. And eventually, when it was my turn to say something snide about something, and John Lennon leaned over and said, "Careful, Herman, you're on next." And I was.
We're talking with Peter Noone. Now, Peter, you're obviously getting ready to go somewhere. I don't know where you're taking your lovely wife to. And by the way, you're like the chauffeur. Why she?
I am the chauffeur today.
Yeah, but
she says I drive too fast, so she sits in the back.
Smart, wise woman. Is your daughter? Does she do also the series? Natalie, is that your kid? And does she?
No, that's my daughter.
Right.
That's my daughter, Natalie.
And she's got a show.
She does a good job, huh?
Yeah, well done.
Yeah.
And we can hear her on Sirius XM also doing a 60s show.
On Sundays. Yeah, on Sundays, 60s show. Yeah, she tells the 60s from the eyes and ears of a much younger person, which is kind of an interesting concept. You know, because how do you get young people to listen to 60s on 6? You have the songs presented by younger people who discover them. I think that's their idea.
Well, where is
you know, they have lots of good ideas over there.
Where's her tasting relation to yours? Do you like the same things? Does she go for completely different, you know, Strawberry Alarm?
Nah.
Yeah.
Her first record was Nirvana, so you know it's a different world. But she appreciates. You know, she sometimes listens to songs and hears them for the first time. You know, on her show. You know, some of them she's heard in the background of her life. You know, played by me and you know my record collection. But some of the songs she's never heard before.
Well, what are you listening to these days? What's on your listening device? What do you queue up? What might surprise us that you listen to?
You know, it's all over the place, really, Rabbi. You know, my wife doesn't like it, but I like Elizabeth Schwarzkopf, and I like ZZ Top, and we all like the Rolling Stones, and I like the Beatles, and I like a lot of Paul McCartney solo stuff, and you know, I like people that I grew up with in the same ether, you know, the same mist. Like, so I like ZZ Top because I get it. Makes me laugh and stuff like that, you know, that macho bravado world. And you know, my group, we always played against that macho thing. We played the opposite of that because the Stones were doing all that jumping around and everything. We said, we're not going to do that. We're going to be, you know, cute little choir boys standing behind our microphone stands, dressed in suits.
And it's the reason, perhaps, that you have lasted so long in our memories. If you had gone trashy, if you changed your hairstyle, if you gotten like to be bad boys, we might have forgotten Herman's Hermits, but there's a certain time capsule quality, not to mention that the songs are really catchy and really well done, that I think has kept you doing what you do, and people go, oh, of course, we love Herman's Hermits, you know?
Well, you know what? Yeah, you know what, right? What somebody said, like at the beginning of my career, was when you hear a record, you need to be able to see the person's face. That is what a career is made of. You hear the record and you see the face. And I think when, like the new Hermit, the guys who are in Herman's Hermits now, you know, Derek Leckenby died, so he's not in the new Hermits. So his replacement has to dress as if it's 1965 on the Ed Sullivan Show, because that's the visual that people have when they hear the record.
Do you feel you have to? I mean, you've still got the hair, so basically all you have to do is just comb your hair, and you know, you're Peter, you're Herman, you're it. You don't have to really, or do you?
Well, I do. You know, I don't think it would be. I don't think people would be happy to see Herman up there in a pair of jeans with a ripped knee and a T-shirt saying Che Guevara or something ridiculous. So I dress as if I'm going to work. It's always my job. Remember, being Herman, it's my job. I've had the same job since 1963 or something. So, you know, it'd be tough to change the rules. You know, we clock in, we're always in the dressing room ready to go 1 hour before the show. And it's just that kind of a job. We're working class people who manage to get paid.
Well, before I let you go, because I know I'm keeping you and your wife from wherever you're chauffeuring her to, and I'm so grateful for Peter Noone being with us in the Daverhood. I have one last question, but before I get to it, I do want to remind everybody to go see him live in person singing on Thursday, March 31st at Sony Hall in Midtown Manhattan, and also on Long Island just a couple of days later, April 3rd at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, Long Island. Go to PeterNoone.com, and it's Noone spelled like no one, not like the hour thing, or HermansHermits.com. There's even like a fan club. You can be a member of things. You can buy memorabilia and tchotchkes. Get lots of Peter Noone tchotchkes. Get them, folks. My question, though, I love theater. I love Broadway. Do you have any fun stories from doing Pirates of Penzance for like 2 or 3 years?
Well, you know something, it was a great growing period for me. There were people in it that were absolutely like mind-blowing performances. Tony Azito, remember Mireille? And the guy who played the Major General, Mr. Rose, an English guy.
George Rose, yeah.
George Rose. I learned so much stuff from, you know, people taking care of each other on stage. You know, if somebody wasn't, it was like the Marines. It was like being in the Royal Marines. You know, if you made a mistake, someone was there to back you up and everything. And all that I learned from that. When I was a kid, I was in Coronation Street, which is a live television show, live, and I learned most of my stuff then. You know, like if you miss a line, somebody really intelligent and clever will fix it for you, and the camera will never have to flutter. And they were just brilliant, and I had fun because it was me. When I got to Broadway, it was me and Jim Belushi, and he was a character. He never did the same show twice, and it was just every day was fun, and I loved it, every minute of it. every minute of that Broadway thing. I love showing up at the theatre, and that Mrs. Minskoff had made everybody have a dressing room with windows because she'd been a dancer and been stuck in some dungeon somewhere. And all that tradition of Broadway was like, and after that I went to England and did it on the West End, and it was all the same thing at the Garrick Theatre, you know, with the tradition of people taking care of each other, and like a real union. You know, the musicians union and the actors union are kind of similar. We've got to take care of each other. So I enjoyed the fact that everybody in it was incredibly talented. And when the pandemic started, my first thought was, imagine you just rehearsed for a show and it's opening on Broadway, and you've been all your life you've been dreaming of this opening night on Broadway, and suddenly they close it and you've rehearsed for 2 months for nothing, and then it goes for more than a year, and then you've lost the opportunity and the theatre. That's all I thought about, was how much people in the entertainment business would be destroyed by it. Not just health-wise, but, you know, never be able to recover that moment in their lives. It's like 2 lost years from their lives.
Although the extraordinary thing about Broadway is that I think virtually every single show that was set to open just before the pandemic eventually found its way back. Even Hangman, which wasn't supposed to, which died. I mean, it's a Martin McDonagh play that, it's not going to happen. And the Minutes by Tracy Letts, suddenly they're all there. Every single one of them managed 2 years later to come back. It's pretty amazing.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But if you were a dancer opening in a show in March 2019, you may be not as good a dancer now.
True. And as you said, I'm not much of a singer at this point. Oh, I sounded like Elizabeth Schwarzkopf 2 years ago, and now I sound like very sad.
You were never a good dancer either.
No, I can't even move these. Let me tell you something. Peter Noone, it has been so delightful, so joyful, so wonderful. Last question, I promise, last question. Advice for up-and-coming performers, or just the whole world, of getting through the next year with everything that's going on.
The persistent people always win. That's it, persistent. I think you've got to stick at it. If you find something that gives you, don't let people talk you out of it. If I'd have done everything I've been told when I was a kid, I would never have had a life. I would have been an accountant. I would have been an accountant in a little shop in Manchester, and I would have probably been happy. But I was persistent. I wanted to do this thing that I do, and I wanted to be on Broadway. And I quit Herman's Hermits to go on Broadway, and then I found out I couldn't pass the auditions because I wasn't good enough. So I had to persist and take lessons, singing lessons, dancing lessons, ballet lessons, every lesson, even sword fencing lessons, so that I could get on Broadway. And I was a persistent little chip. I persisted. Because what else do I need to do? What else do I have to get good at? I even auditioned for La Boheme,
Okay.
I took opera singing lessons so I could audition with Linda Ronstadt in La Boheme. Obviously, a much better singer than me got it, but I worked for a year, every day, 4 or 5 hours a day, trying to get my voice. For skipping some people have natural ability. I thought I could teach myself.
Well, but good for you. I mean, whatever you learned, even if you didn't get into La Boheme, it still stood you in good stead as a singer overall for doing concerts and keeping your voice good so that you can still sing now for 90 minutes or, an hour and 45 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, they taught me that on Broadway. I learned that on Broadway, warming up and stuff like that. That's another part of what I learned on the way. But, I think persistence is the key, because when we first started, we drove around in a van, and there were 6 people in this little van that delivered cow heels and tripe in the daytime and pork pies. And we drove around in this horrible thing for years. Everybody thinks we made it overnight sensation. But we had a dream, and we stuck to it. We said, if we keep, I saw the Beatles in a field, and the guy I was with, it was so good that the guy who I was standing next to quit. He quit the business. He never, ever picked up his guitar again. But I'm going to practice a lot more and get better at this. And I want to one day be like that. You know what I mean? Some people
Persistent.
quit. Yeah, I was a persistent little chip. And they told me that at school, keep the day job. Everybody was, because I wouldn't show up for school. I was in a band and we'd get home at 4 a.m. and I lived with my grandparents and I'd say, can I stay in bed? And, your grandparents are easy. They were deaf anyway. They didn't know what I was saying. So, I skipped school a lot, but I always got the work in. If I'd get the homework done and show up and apparently seem to know everything. I was a little know-all.
Well, it has paid off. Your persistence, I can't say that I would recommend your course of action to junior high school students, but it worked for you, and it continues to work. But if you're a junior high school person, what you've got to do is not have a part-time thing. You work on something that you want to do really, really, really hard, as well as doing all the schoolwork. I always did all the schoolwork. You were not allowed not to do schoolwork in my time. Now either. Really, you're
Not
still
allowed,
not allowed to not graduate.
No, but I mean, I'm not saying don't do the schoolwork, but if you've got a dream and it's being in a band or being an actor or being a sing German opera,
that is always
there isn't a market for that, but you've got to persist at it until you make it into a market. You think there wasn't any competition for a so-called beat group when we started? We just had to get going. We kept going.
And you you keep going, persisting with your talent, with your joie de vivre, and your
10 more years.
That word. There we go. So I want to thank both of you, certainly, Mireille and, of course, Peter. Hello, Mireille again. Shalom, much success, much luck. Everybody go see Peter Noone at Sony Hall on March 31st, Thursday night, and also Sunday night, April 3rd at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead. Health, success, so much more music, and mazel to you, Peter Noone. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, thank you, Rabbi. I wish I could say something in Hebrew. What can I say? Kulam b'yachad?
Whoa, yes, all together. I love that.
What?
Kulam b'yachad, yeah.
My wife is going to say something.
How do you know these? Both of you.
She grew up in Israel, that's why.
Oh my God! I shouldn't have talked to you. I should have talked to her the whole time. What a waste! Oh, damn it!
I'm sorry. She's never taught me how to speak Hebrew because I was busy learning to speak French and English.
Fair enough. We'll just
but I can say Titradesh, and Titrachi, and
hey, you know what? I hope Lehitraot. Ask her what
I knew that. Pardon?
À bientôt. À bientôt.
À bientôt is French.
No, I know, but see you soon.
See you soon, à bientôt.
Thank you, and shalom to you both.
Thank you. You didn't say goodbye to the dog.
Oh, shalom, Kelev. Where are you? Oh, they're sleeping.
There she is.
I'll be quiet.
Merci, Caleb.
Okay, Rabbi, it's good talking to you.
You too. Shabbat.
Have a great life. God bless. Thank you.
Well, was that fun? Was that great or what? Peter Noone from Herman's Hermits in the Daverhood with his dog, with his lovely wife Mireille. I do want to apologize because it is Saturday morning, so of course right across the street from where this computer is, there are literally 3 people with leaf blowers. This is suburbia in March. They can't, no, God forbid they couldn't wait until 2 in the afternoon when the show's gone.
They want money, right? Because they've been working in the winter, so now they're...
Yeah. No, I don't, but why... Do leaf blowers have to be...
I tell you?
Yeah.
I was doing my normal walk. It was a corner property. There were 4 guys with leaf blowers from the same company. All they did was blow dirt in my face and blow the dirt all around.
Yeah, that's all it does.
There's a thing called a rake and manual labor.
No, I get not wanting to have to rake, not wanting to... But, you can make an air conditioner that you put on, and it goes... It's blowing air. That's what it's doing. It's an air conditioner. And you hear it, it's got a little hum. It's no big deal. These things, they're like howitzers.
I know, and I have the window closed, and you hear it through the window.
Yeah. And well, it's also because they're literally at this window right
the next
here.
House, so when I lived it with a friend who went to Rockefeller, so we lived in Rockefeller, like apartment housing, and we had double pane windows in the next house because I'm sensitive to sound. We're getting double pane windows.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And obviously, if I do this show from wherever our next house will be, I'm constructing, since there's going to be World War III, I'm going to have a bunker. I'm going to do one of these shelter places for after the next nuclear war, and that's where I can do the show from. Because at least it'll be quiet.
What? Can't hear you. What?
At least there won't be these guys, making as much noise as they can in this country before they go back to Mexico overnight.
No,
Like,
that's racist.
That's racist. I know it's racist. Of course it's racist.
It's the same thing why the woman shot Warhol, because you get somebody who owns the company, they make thousands of dollars off of this, and the workers probably get maybe a few hundred. I mean,
Well, it's a job. I'm sure they have to be paid minimum wage or more.
Maybe there's some sort of Freudian significance to the leaf blower. I'm thinking.
You think? Oh, well, look at those things. Look at those hoses. It's 10:41 in the morning. That means I've got to let some people in to the Daverhood to play the Dave's Gone By Facebookio Podcastio Programmio game, which is the Today Yesterday Trivia Quiz. So, joining us as we speak are our great friends Vicki Quade, coming all the way from Chicago, where she does her shows, Easter Bunny Bingo, as well as, of course, Late Night Catechism. Yeah. And then we've got Leslie Hoban Blake. And where's David?
He's late.
Where's David? Leslie, unmute. Hold on. Unmute. No, he should be coming on momentarily, I hope. But this gives us a quick chance to talk to Leslie and to...
I thought it was 10:30, so I've been waiting in here since 10:33.
It was 10:30, and then I texted to let you know that we're going...
I didn't get the text. I only got the 10:30 one. David Sheward just sent me the 10:40 text. I didn't have it.
There you go. How you guys doing?
All right.
That's the only way I ever get any place on time, is to be given the wrong time. No, that's a lie. That's the old me. That's not me now.
That's the old
party starts at noon, but Leslie come 11:30.
Exactly. So Leslie, good to see you. And thank you for logging on time. Unlike David Sheward today.
Why is everyone wearing maroon? What is that?
Yeah.
So who won last week?
Last week was take a wild guess.
It was the tie.
It was a tie.
Oh, was it? Oh, that's right. It was a tie between Moishe Denberg and David Sheward.
Right.
Really? Moishe must have been very happy.
And I got one answer right.
Well, that happens. I like what you did with your hair behind your ears. It's cute.
Thank you, but I can't get my bangs to do anything. God, they're just horrible.
Well, I'm about to go get my hair done. My hair is, look at how long my hair is.
Yeah.
I have never worn it quite this long. So
very sexy.
Not since I was a girl, which is like 1,000 years ago.
Great,
back in dinosaur days.
So you're getting a haircut in person in an actual barber, or salon, as you people call it. So what else have you done in person while COVID is at least temporarily?
Is this for her or is this for anybody?
Actually, it's for anybody. But Leslie, I'm asking you because you just said you're going to a bar.
I went to the theater. I sat in a theater Thursday night. They let me go in to see Company.
Oh, wow.
Because I'm trying to catch up on shows that I've missed, right?
Yeah.
So they let me go in to see Company. Only I didn't get the message until 5 o'clock Thursday for a 7 o'clock curtain.
Yeah.
And I was there at 6:55 with a guest.
All right, well.
Nothing like giving me, like the carrot before the horse, right? I can't believe I got there. Then, of course, and it was I had the best seat in the house for me because I need to stretch out. Yeah. And everything was lovely and it was great, my friend. And we get outside the theater and a bucket of water falls on our head. Literally. No, but see, I thought it was like an air conditioner. It stormed. It was still storming.
Right, yes.
It stormed. My hair was like, and we went to a bar right around the corner in the hotel, in the Row Hotel. It was very nice. We had a little corner all to ourselves. And we waited like an hour and a half until they closed, and then we went outside, and it was still pouring.
Yeah. It was.
So I called my friend, got a cab, and I got a cab, and we went home.
So, but was it worth schlepping in horrible weather?
Everything. It was worth everything.
Oh.
I wish I liked the show better.
Oh. So that was.
I liked it. I liked bits and pieces of it.
Okay. Was everybody in it? Was Patti LuPone?
Yes, everybody who mattered was in it, right? The two of them who were in it mattered, right?
So to explain to Vicki, this isn't just quote unquote a regular revival of Stephen Sondheim's and George Firth's musical
It's a
company.
reimagining of it. It's a reimagining with the main character, Bobby, who's always played by a man, now being played by a woman.
Yeah.
And there was some rewriting done. Sondheim was in on it. So, no, I said Spielberg. I also watched West Side Story. So Sondheim was in on it. So he made whatever changes, he approved whatever changes were made. I agree with some. I don't agree with all of them. I mean, watching a dumb blonde girl was a tradition. Watching a dumb blonde guy was kind of like, do I believe that this is this guy?
There are dumb blonde guys.
No, I understand that. And what it does is it makes Bobby even more shallow as a woman to be hot after the guy who's a dumb blonde. Because there's so many decent men out there who have everything to offer to go for just a guy who's hung. I mean, I'm sitting in a different seat.
When you were young, you chased after. I'm sure you went for guys.
I was very lucky when I was young. I did not know that I was attractive, and so I was very happy with most of the guys I got. When a good-looking guy came my way, I wasn't chasing him; he was chasing me. So it was a different thing. But that was only because I really didn't know. I told you about. I showed you the stuff to tell the truth. I had no idea that I was attractive.
Yeah.
At the time.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And it changes. I said once I found a picture that fell out of a book and it was really, really pretty. And I thought if I had known what I looked like at the time, I could have ruled the world. I got to turn off my TV. I didn't know it was on pause. Hang on. I'll be right back.
How was your week?
Oh, my week has been good. But I have to tell Leslie that we are very.
I can hear you. I'm coming back.
We are very similar in that. You know, I grew up. I never thought I was pretty. I never thought I was good looking. I just I'm like you. But I was.
Absolutely.
That's the thing.
I look at pictures of myself and I'm like, look at that cutie pie. But nobody said anything. So. But yeah, I never thought to go after somebody, you know.
Well, I started out as a fat kid. I was a short, fat kid. I was 5'4" and I weighed 150 pounds.
Wow.
So I was a chubette when I was 12. When I entered high school at 13, by the time I left high school at 16, I was 5'7" and weighed 135 pounds, which is but see, that changed, and I was in an all-girls school. That was the best thing that ever happened to me.
Oh, I wish I were in an
all-girls
school. That would have been the best thing ever happened.
Right. You would have loved that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But it took out the equation of not feeling attractive in front of boys. So it didn't matter whether I felt attractive. I mean, I liked dressing up, and I made fashion statements. And hello, David.
Hey, David.
And made fashion statements, but I didn't have any idea. So I blossomed. I wrote for the magazine. I worked in the theater. I worked in the library. I did all kinds of things. I ran for office because I didn't have that extra. And you know exactly what I mean,
Leslie. It's like you're describing me. I mean, truly, I had not that I hadn't have an interest, but I blossomed myself. I love to write my whole life. Nobody said anything to me about, oh, you're so good looking, or you're this, or you're that. Right. So with that equation missing, you develop, you learn your talents, and
did you go to a I was going to say a bisexual school. That's not the right word. Did you go to a co-ed school?
There may have been bisexual people there, but we didn't talk about that. I went to a Catholic school, so it was co-ed. But
it was very strict. But it was strict, so it wasn't.
Oh God, yeah, nuns.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Because I was not happy
in elementary
David.
School. We're talking about our blossoming as children.
I liked boys very much in elementary school, and I didn't. What, we want to start?
Hello, David.
Dave wants to start.
I'm sorry to be late. I was balancing my checkbook, and then I got your text saying, "Oh, we'll be 10:40." I said, "Oh, I got lots of time."
I didn't get the 10:40 text. I was sitting in the waiting room, which wasn't opening.
So, but David, what are you balancing your checkbook on? Is because you have to hit the apex just right, or it goes, yeah.
No, Dave.
Running late. 10:40.
Yes.
I didn't get that, and Dave is making a Euclidean geometry joke.
So,
Oh,
David Sheward, are you going to the theater today? Because you're already dressed. You're not in your Playbill PJs.
I am going to see Plaza Suite at the matinee. Yes.
Cool, cool. I'm seeing that.
David,
next
I
week.
went to see Company Thursday night.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
well, I wish it were great, but anyway, I went to see Company.
I enjoyed it very much.
I had issues with certain things that we're going to talk about it on our review. We're going to review it together.
It'd be interesting.
Well, let me properly introduce before we get right to the game, because it's already like 10 to 11 here. But Leslie Hoban Blake reviews shows and does stuff about theater with Charlie
She
Gross.
does now. She hasn't for a long time, but she does now.
On Critic Circle on YouTube, that's where you can watch those shows. Vicki Quade, she of course does Easter Bunny Bingo and Catechism at the Greenhouse.
Easter Bunny Bingo.
Chicago.
It's so cute. It's so cute.
Yay! And then David Sheward is a theater critic. He writes for theaterlife.com, culturaldaily.com, and has his blog, The David Desk. We'll do after the game's over.
Okay.
We'll say what you're writing about now and what's
Sure.
going on for all of you. But let's get to the game.
Okay.
It's called the Today, Yesterday Trivia Game. You've all played it.
Vicki and I sent each other a note to wear pink today.
Yeah,
Well,
everybody's
Dave-
the same color except
David's got his that kind of
Reddish.
fits.
Reddish.
Reddish. Yeah.
Think about finding that woman who
And in the background, your poster.
Actually, I made this. It's not part of this. I think it's adorable, Louis. I can
Very
put it on
nice.
for. It's a hood. It's just a knitted circle, which because I don't know how to knit anything, so I knitted myself a circle, and then now I'm wearing it.
It looks fine. It looks great. And then, it's, you've got like one more week to wear it before we get real spring weather. And
I know. I would die in the heat if it
You
was
may
wearing
wonder
it. It's
why
very
I
warm.
have snow in the background. It is snowing in Chicago right now.
Oh,
really?
my God! Welcome to
just
global
very-
warming.
Very little, just dust, but it's there. It's actually snowing.
Is it,
I didn't know it was snow. I thought it was leaves. I thought it was a blossom.
Yeah, it looks like
I'm
leaves
sorry.
to me too, actually. But
No, it looks like magnified,
Well,
artistic.
now that you say it, I can see it,
looks
but I
like
couldn't see
artistic
it.
snow.
are you sure those aren't flakes from a Coke deal gone wrong? It is Chicago,
It is Chicago. It could be.
All right, so we also have a question from the gallery here about, especially for Leslie and David, did you know or run into at all Barbara Meyer Gustern, the voice teacher?
No.
I know Barbara Blyer and Austin Pendleton, with whom she was working on the show.
Oh, wow.
She's been their coach forever. And Austin was directing Barbara in a show. And I met Barbara up at the O'Neill when she was taking a master class when I followed the cabaret program there for an article in Theater Week. I actually went through I went through it. I didn't perform, but I went through it as if I was a student for a whole week. It was a really interesting process. And I met Barbara Blyer there. And so she's an older lady as well. So she won't like my saying that, I'm sure. She's also a recent bride, but so I felt very bad for, it's horrible. It's just terrible, but I didn't know her. And that was my neighborhood. I lived on 24th. She was killed on 28th Street.
So I was just wondering because
I did not know. I was not aware of her. It's terrible. I think this horrible. Well, I don't know all the facts, but we'll see what happens.
Well, they got the girl. Now we'll find
Yes.
out. She was angry about something and just hit somebody, probably, I think is what happened.
I thought
Honestly.
I saw today on the news. I saw a little thing online that she had an argument with her boyfriend, something, and was just ticked off.
Right. That was what I thought I had heard.
He just ran into this woman and pushed her.
Yeah.
Well, the woman was in her way, I think is what it was. It's world, get out of my way kind of thing.
Then this
Not
woman.
that justifies it, but
That's manslaughter.
Yeah. Well,
yes, I think so.
all my
I
life,
believe-
I've been,
Womanslaughter in this case.
all my life I've been surrounded by pushy Jews. This is actually a Jew who was pushed, so it's appropriate, for
David.
That's okay. Anything for a laugh.
anything.
Read the room, David. Too soon.
No, David.
You're gonna make the Ukrainian
Speaking
joke
of
now?
too soon.
Oh, and actually, apparently, Joyce is saying that the voice teacher was not Jewish, which with Barbara Meyer.
I don't know whether she was or not.
She had a wake, apparently. Which
I did not know her.
In fact, it's weird that they would call it a wake since they're forever sleeping. I don't get that either. But anyway, shall we do some questions?
Yes.
Yes.
Here we go. It's the Today Yesterday.
Before you choke to death, yes, let's go on.
2 points per question if you get it right. And remember, these questions are based on things that happened in history
Well, we haven't picked our numbers or
Oh,
anything.
I'm sorry. Yep. A little behind the times on this.
Welcome to David's world.
Well,
So,
Okay.
Vicki Quade, could you kindly pick a number between 1 and 6 and tell me what it is?
3.
3 for the Vicster. And Leslie Hoban Blake?
6. Don't see why.
And then David Sheward?
4.
Ooh. Mm.
Okay. We're going to roll a die to see blah, 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 you know.
Drink your tea, honey.
Yes, it's number 4. So, David Sheward, would you like to be first, second,
Yes.
or third?
Yeah, I'll be first.
Yes. He'll take all of them.
Did you
It's
say
okay.
first?
Yes.
Yes, David Sheward first. Okay, we're going to roll that again.
He's trying to get to the matinee.
We have a number 2.
And yeah, the Oscars are coming up soon. You know.
Yeah, tomorrow.
I would like to watch the Oscars.
He wants to be finished with this in time to see them.
No, I'm joking.
He's got school on Monday. Hurry
That's
up.
right.
Yeah, I got school on Monday.
Vicky, second or third?
2. Number 2. Second.
Second.
Well, that puts me in third place. Oh boy. Okay.
Up the rear.
Lately, that's been the best one.
Yeah.
I
For me
debated
or
whether
in
to take
general?
third.
So,
Well-
because you can get out early in the game if people miss the first question or two.
Oh yes, I understand the premise. Indeed.
All right, here we go. So this first question goes to David Sheward.
Yes.
The year was 127. That is a long time ago.
Okay.
Greek astronomer Ptolemy begins his observation of the heavens.
I love Ptolemy.
Which of these is true about the life and work of Ptolemy?
Okay.
A, although as a youth he loved music, he ended up renouncing it from his life because he couldn't reconcile music's more random elements with the rigors of math and logic. B, he was one of the first to say the earth was round rather than flat. C, he was one of the first to say the earth rotated around the sun. Or D, in his work on optics, Ptolemy proved that light's intensity, shadows, and color were all based on how much sunlight came through the clouds at a given moment.
So which is true or which is false?
Only one of these is true.
All right. So he gave up music because it didn't jibe with math. He was one of the first people to say that the earth was round. He believed in the heliocentric theory that the earth goes around the sun. And he said sunlight depends on how much clouds are around. So which of these is true, huh?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
All right, I'll say, Well, how much music did they have? Well, they had music in Greek. They were strumming their lyres, I guess.
Well, not when they were telling the truth.
I
but
think we would have heard it if the heliocentric part were true, or he would have gotten more credit. I'll say A.
You'll say it's true that as a youth he loved music, but renounced it because
Yeah.
it wasn't close to math and logic.
Okay, sure.
Your final, and David's rushing through because it's almost 11 already, and he's getting his shoes on for the theater. I'll go quick on
I
this.
need to get my pants on.
Whoa, hey ho.
Good to know.
Hey ho. It's not that kind of show.
David, I think I hear the phone ringing. Why don't you get up and go get it?
What's that ancient Greek song, Liar, Liar, Pants on Fire?
Somebody from the gallery says.
So, no,
No.
that is not correct. So, by the way, David Sheward, no, we have
Okay.
Spanish.
All right, fine.
What's in Spanish? What?
My Facebook, it's in Spanish, all my stuff.
Oh, I don't know why that is. I'm going to roll a die, though, and it will come up Leslie Hoban Blake, we have a steal opportunity for you.
Is this the same Ptolemy who married his sister? Is this Cleopatra's brother, or is it a different Ptolemy?
I honestly don't know. I don't know that much.
That's the only thing I'm confused about. It wouldn't matter toward my answer. I just am confused.
I don't
Okay.
think so.
I'll spell
Okay.
it Ptolomy. And the
No, I know how to spell it. I just wasn't sure if he was the same Ptolemy.
How long ago was Cleopatra? Was that BC? Then it wouldn't have been.
Yeah, it was BC.
Like 30
This is
BC or
127 AD.
Oh, this is 127. Okay,
so.
thank you. You did say 127, and I thought you were joking.
Wait.
I thought it was a baseball number. Oh, did you watch the kids win last night in March Madness?
Enough with
I'm
the
sorry.
tangents.
Okay, my mind went there.
Wait,
I'm
are
going to
you
say
sure?
that it was the optics is true. That the optics of the amount of sunlight.
So that's
was
what you're
one-
saying. It was all about how the sun came through the clouds. That's what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying that is your answer on what is true?
That's my answer. D.
Well, I'm afraid clouds got in your way, just like with Joni Mitchell. That is not the answer.
Oh, I got a 50-50.
You do
You
indeed.
do.
That's what you said last night.
Pants on.
Oh, David enjoyed
I walked
that.
right into that. I am sorry. I will watch myself.
I don't
in
even
the
know what that
future.
means.
Sure you don't.
Okay. All right. Does the Earth revolve around the sun, or did he say that? What was the other one?
That
The
Earth
Yours
is
was round, not flat.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Earth is round, not flat.
You think it is?
Even in this day and age, you're now a flat earther. Is that your final answer?
Yes.
It's the revolution
In what way?
that the Earth went around the sun.
Well, that's the heliocentric thing. But
Yeah.
that's not what he said. Vicki Quade, you are in fact right. He was one of the first people to say that the Earth was round. He was not heliocentric. He still felt that things revolved around the Earth rather than the other way around.
Yeah, but the Earth was round. Interesting.
It's narcissism.
He did, and the interesting thing about Ptolemy is that he wrote a whole book called Harmonics, where it showed that music could be turned into equations and vice versa. So he connected music with math very
okay.
specifically.
Music is very math-centered.
Yeah, he was one of the first people to figure that out. And also, his work was later mostly discounted because his optica, in terms of where light was coming from, he based everything on perception in the human eye rather than light and shadow.
Oh,
that was
okay.
coming from the other way. But we have 2 points for Vicki Quade, who is now officially leading in our Today quiz. Wait a minute, what's with the tiny violin?
Listen to David. No, I don't mean that in any. This is a big thing. This is a nice little thing. That's all.
Oh, and this is Nancy Pelosi.
I can do Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi, exactly.
I'm doing the Nancy Pelosi now. Okay.
It's 11 o'clock in the morning, ladies and gentlemen. You're watching Dave's Gone By with me, Dave Lefkowitz, Vicki Quade, Leslie Hoban, Blake, and David Sheward are playing the Today Yesterday quiz, where it is time for our second question. Vicki already has 2 points. She can build on her lead.
That's right. I got the next question.
If she gets this multiple choice question correct.
The crowd goes wild.
Great clues in the news.
That's coming. 1484 was the year. Even though it was full of errors, William Caxton reached a literary milestone today when he translated and printed his book of Aesop's fables. Aesop wrote a lot of them, according to Wikipedia. Which of these is not an official Aesop fable?
Okay.
A, The Old Man and the Ass. B, washing the Ethiopian white. C, why the eel cannot be a clam.
Oh, Jesus.
Or D, the fox, the flies, and the hedgehog.
Oh man, I love these fables, right? You know, we all read them.
We all read them.
Oh my
well, you
God.
read one of these because one of these doesn't exist.
Yeah, right. I am sorry. I'm going to ask you to read them again because
Oh, I'm
they're
happy
just so
to.
delightful.
A, The Old Man and the Ass.
Or Saturday Night at the Anvil.
I think that's Sanford.
Are these Aesop's titles or are these
Yes.
Caxton's
In the
titles?
translation.
Only one is wrong, right?
David, we're watching War.
Only one is wrong. Okay.
Well, yeah.
The Old Man and the Ass.
Washing the Ethiopian white.
Oh, God.
C, while the eel cannot be a clam. Or D, the fox, the flies, and the hedgehog.
Why the eel cannot be a clam. I'm just guessing.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, sure.
Not only are you doing really well in the quiz, Vicki Quade, you are doing eerily well in the quiz. That is
Did
the
it?
correct answer. Well, was
Total guess.
Total guess.
Actually, it sounded a little odd.
I
So
want
thought,
Yeah.
Now I want to find out what the fox, the flies, and the hedgehog is about.
I want to find out about washing the Ethiopian white.
Well, yeah. The moral of that is that you can't change a person. You know,
Oh, you
Yeah,
can't change
He
it.
also never got the memo. You know, he didn't get the memo that was not BC.
Yeah, right.
Well,
let's see.
Not necessarily. We'd have to read the story.
No, I think it's, you can't change your color. I think that's a good.
That's the story. Is they kept washing him in milk and it didn't work.
Right.
Now, I want to know what
That's
happened with
the
the old
story.
man in the ass. But anyway,
Yeah, the old man in the
The
ass.
old man and the ass is the carrot and the stick, isn't it? It's about making the ass move. The old man is beating the donkey and beating the donkey, and finally somebody comes along and puts a carrot in front of him. The donkey gets up and walks away.
Yeah.
That's the old man and the
there
ass.
it is.
I mean,
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Stop beating that ass, old man.
I don't know the flies in the hedgehog. I don't know that one.
Use the carrot instead, if you know what I mean.
Oh, God,
Okay.
help us.
We have to finish the first round of our today's.
We have a runaway.
We have a question that is going directly to Leslie Hoban Blake. So, Leslie, you are already 4 points behind Vicki Quade, as is David. But
A great way to get me to start. Thank you.
you can get 2 points if you get one of these 3 clues in the news.
Oh, fuck me.
I love these. I love these.
I'm with you, Leslie.
I love these.
Lord,
I
Okay.
love them when I get them, David. When they come to me in a flash of brilliance, I love them. Otherwise, it's like beating my head with a hammer, you know?
I love and hate them at the same time.
I know.
All right, here we go. Leslie, this one is for you. I'll fuck you later. But here's the here is the
post contact, honey.
3 words.
Joyce, you're okay with this? I mean,
You know,
it was an expression on my part, Joyce. You know.
Job, you know, this is his gig.
It's my
job.
gig economy, so I don't make any money from doing this. So, you know,
Okay.
He's
I
not
charge
Leslie.
you.
He's
Neither do any of the rest of us. Go
I
ahead.
charge by the minute.
No,
So
he's-
3 minutes, I'm done.
He's not
Who's
his
your
good
guest today?
boyfriend, but he's
Peter Noone.
Okay,
It was
here we go.
Peter
Peter
Noone.
Noone was the guest today?
He was great
Oh.
too. And he did the whole thing in his car.
I can't. Wow, he must have thought he was on James Corden's show. I will watch. I always watch, but now I'm very excited about watching. Go ahead.
He was
I
really
can
like
say I was on television with Peter Noone. I wasn't, but I can say it.
Well, at the end, when we wrap up, I'll ask her. 3 clues in the news to Leslie Hoban Blake. Here we go.
I'm just
3
trying to
words.
keep away from having to do it. Okay, go.
Course, diet, hard drive.
Wait, say it again.
Is that course COUR or COAR?
COURSE.
Okay.
Course.
Course, diet, and hard drive.
Correct.
Huh. Give me 2 seconds.
Of course.
Time's up.
Good Lord. I learned the word from the film. David is sassy. That's the new word that we learned today. Sassy. Sassy.
Which David or both?
Oh, she's talking about you, I think.
I
Yeah.
think you're no. This David S is lit. You're more sassy.
Oh, I'm more sassy?
Yes.
Oh.
You could switch.
I'm going to say master. It's the word that comes to mind.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
No, but nothing else makes any sense anyway. So,
So master is your word.
yeah.
Well, I'm not taking the bait on that one. Oh,
I
no,
hope
it's
not.
the question. I've got to roll the die here because we have a steal opportunity. It came up 6 again. It will now come up 3. I think so.
Can I guess again?
No, you cannot. I'm sorry. It doesn't work like that.
After we're all done.
Right.
And it won't
Right after
count.
you're done. Right.
And it won't count.
So, Vicki,
But other than that,
take a command. And you could sweep this round.
Yeah, not in this one. Okay, it's course,
Mm-hmm. Diet.
diet, and a hard drive.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Course, a diet, and hard drive.
That is connected to all
Sure.
these 3.
Sure.
Wait, say it again. Horse.
Course.
Course, like you're taking a class.
Of course. Diet.
Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah.
Don't overthink
you just got it.
Don't overthink it. Okay.
Think it. Brainstorm it.
Yeah, underthink it. You know.
Underthink it. Food.
Is that your
Yeah,
final
sure, but it doesn't fit hard drive, so whatever. Just trying to move it along.
certainly giving us something to chew on, but no, that is not the correct answer. David Sheward, do you have that? And remember, it is a clue that's also connected to something that happened in the news. David, you're nodding your head. What's the answer?
Crash.
Crash.
Correct
Excellent.
answer, of course.
Very
Boom,
good.
boom, 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 boom. Crash
Very
course,
good.
crash diet, and hard
Yep.
rock crash.
Excellent.
And why crash?
Because of the Chinese
I
airplane.
remember that. Okay. It
And
seems
didn't an amusement park ride in Orlando crash? Or
Oh, the kid.
The
was terrible.
the
I
kid
don't-
fell out. He didn't
kid
crash.
fell out.
The kid fell out of it. Yeah.
well, it was a free fall ride. You know, don't go in getting
Oh.
free. He did fall. So
Did you ever do one of those? Did you ever do one of those?
No.
Yeah.
Never.
Yeah, I did.
I've done that. Yeah.
I
I've been
did
on
it
that.
I
right.
didn't do the free fall, but I did the old parachute jump at Coney
Oh, yeah.
Island.
Yeah.
And I thought I was sure that something left my body at that point. I'm not sure
It
what.
was for a few seconds. It felt like you were falling because you go up and then
Right,
and then
right. Well,
the body
it's the
goes
same
up.
thing,
And,
but at least in Coney Island, you ostensibly had a parachute on, which would not have worked because it wasn't high enough.
yeah,
but-
I did. Yeah, I did one at Universal Studios. I think it was called Dr. Doom's Free Fall, and we were strapped in.
There you go.
We were strapped in very tight. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
and I felt safe, but I don't know what happened with this.
No, I didn't feel safe. That was the thing.
But
They
what was
let
the
you
crash?
go into free fall with that parachute. You
What
were
was
not
the
strapped
crash?
into-
The Chinese airplane crash.
Oh, right.
737.
Oh, okay, right.
Two people, as opposed to this one kid who, I don't want to be petty about this, but he's free falling.
Oh, Petty. Got it.
Yeah, thank you very
Got
much.
Okay.
Got
it.
Can we
Got it.
think of any more death jokes while we're at it? Fresh cut
I do.
death jokes. Let's come up with some more. Fresh ones.
It's what I try.
Yeah. Breaking news: the commander of a Russian 13th Tank Regiment has committed suicide, according to Ukrainian military intelligence.
Whoa.
One
Interesting.
down, 800 million Russians to go. I mean, that
Wow.
makes me think.
That one is funny.
All right, it's Vicki with 4 points, David Sheward with 2 points, Leslie not yet on the board, but we have a whole second round of our yesterday trivia quiz with more questions. David, are you ready for your
Yes.
next question? Here we go. The year was 1812.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Boom.
a 7.7 scale earthquake, speaking of booms, hit Caracas, Venezuela today, killing more than 15,000 people and virtually destroying the city. It's been rebuilt since then, so which of these is false about Caracas? A. Call Lieutenant Colombo. The unsolved homicide rate is 90%. B.
Wait, the unsolved?
The unsolved
Wow.
homicide rate is 90%.
Which of these is true?
Which of these is false?
Which of these is false? Okay, go ahead.
All right. B. Caracas has the highest per capita murder rate in the world. C. The average salary for a doctor in Caracas is $1,000 a month. Or D. During Lent, many Caracans eat capybara, a giant rat that tastes like fish, so the clergy allow it.
All right. So which of these is false?
Not true. One of
The
these
rest is true.
All the rest are true, yeah.
Okay, so 91% of homicides are unsolved in Caracas. The murder
Not
rate
90%,
is
but okay.
the murder rate is the highest in the world. A doctor gets $1,000 a month, and they eat rat fish.
Ratfish.
They eat rat
It's
fish.
a capybara.
The rat that tastes like fish.
Soon to be in a Mario Batali restaurant near
Yes,
you.
or a Monty Python sketch.
Ratfish for Lent?
Oh, it tastes like fish.
Yeah.
Oh, what's for afters? Strawberry tart.
Oh, God.
Strawberry tart, is there rat in it? Not too much rat. How much? 3.
I don't like rat.
Rather a lot, really. But it tastes like fish. Oh, in that case, chow down.
I'm just timing you, David, because you have a show to get to.
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
Totally diverting, but it's
this
funny.
is false. I think it's true that doctors don't make very much because Venezuela is supposed to be really terrible as far as the economy goes. I think it's true they eat rat that tastes like fish. I think it's false that they have the highest murder rate. I think it may be Rio or something. I'll say B. The murder rate is the highest in the world.
Is that your final answer as the false one? Here we go.
Yes.
Well, David Sheward, usually you're killing it in this game, but not on that question. That really is true. They do have the highest
Murder rate in the world. Okay.
Yeah, per capita, or whatever per capita means. But here we go. We'll roll that die.
Trip, honey. Hold on, I gotta cancel the trip.
Leslie Hoban Blake.
Let's go to Kiev instead.
Okay, it's interesting because when they turn away the people coming across the border who say that they're escaping murder and whatnot, they're told, no, you have to go back. And yet all of this is on the table. Okay, I would think that it is the I would think $1,000 a month is a lot of money in Venezuela, is what I would think. So I'm going to go with the highest. I'm going to go with the capybara. I don't think they eat the capybara.
So your answer is going to be?
I'm going with D.
D is false. The capybara.
D is false.
Well, something fishy about that answer. I'm afraid it is true.
I thought that was true.
That was true.
Yeah, me too.
Vicki Quade, you got.
I'm going to say it's the $1,000 a month. I think it's less. I think it's way less.
Is that your final answer?
It is.
Leslie, you should have gone with your first instinct. That is, I mean, $1,000 a month. I mean, they're doctors, but the actual honest thing is that Venezuelan doctors average $1,500 a year.
Oh,
yeah.
a year.
Yeah.
That's
wow.
Wow.
Why do they even bother becoming doctors?
Well,
I know that's not
low.
the reason. I know.
Yeah.
I'm basing that on American thinking, you know.
I think I told you I met the Venezuelan UN representative once. And he was,
it didn't come up in conversation, David. No.
Was he mug you or what?
No, I was. I had a temporary job. It was when I was between jobs at Berlitz, teaching English as a second language, and my assignment was to go to the Venezuelan consulate and discuss it with the ambassador, to like help him practice his English. So we just met. We just sat and read the newspapers for an hour and discussed things. And he told me what it was like to be on the Security Council and how Putin Putin addressed them once, and his eyes were deadly, and he's kind of
shark eyes.
How long ago was that you did this?
Yeah,
about five years ago.
Recent is relatively.
Wow. Hasn't changed much, has he? Well, there you go.
But it was very interesting. It was
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway, interesting story. Here's what's interesting. Vicki Quade is in the lead in this game now with 6 points to David Sheward's 2, and Leslie not on the board yet. But we're not even halfway through. Well, we are about halfway through the game almost. Still stuff can happen. As a matter of fact, this next question goes to Vicki. So Vicki can really...
Oh, yeah, don't bet on it, but okay, go ahead. Multiple choice
question.
All right.
The year, remember, everything, it's things that happened on this date in history, March 26th, 1859. On this date, French astronomer Edmond Lescarbault discovers a new planet, or thinks he does. He sees a small black dot moving over the face of the sun and thinks it's a new planet, one that mathematician Urbain Le Verrier names Vulcan. 60 years later, Albert Einstein would disprove this finding and prove that Lescarbault simply saw a space-time anomaly caused by the sun's mass. But we celebrate Vulcan by asking which of these is not an album by Leonard Nimoy.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go. A, Two Sides of Leonard Nimoy. B, The Highly Illogical Leonard Nimoy. C, The Touch of Leonard Nimoy. D, The New World of Leonard Nimoy.
Ooh, The Touch of Leonard Nimoy. I'm just guessing.
So you're saying that is the one that is not an actual Leonard Nimoy album?
Right.
Oh, I'm afraid I've got the Vulcan Death Grip coming for you, The Touch. There really is an album called The Touch of Leonard Nimoy. Yes, there is. We have a steal opportunity.
I would have bought that one. I adored Leonard Nimoy.
The touch of Leonard Nimoy is on your skin.
Yeah. David,
go ahead.
This
is it me?
Touches you now because you can steal.
Okay, so we've got where are we? Okay, I've looked at Leonard Nimoy from both sides now. Okay, so two sides: the highly illogical and the New World. I think I don't know. Highly illogical, you would think it would be in. I'm trying to think like a Vulcan. I think highly illogical would not, because I think he would want to avoid that. He would want to avoid the Spock thing. So I'll say the highly illogical. Is it the highly illogical Leonard Nimoy?
The title, the highly illogical Leonard Nimoy.
I'm going to go with that one. I think he would want to avoid the association with Spock too much.
Final answer?
Yes.
Well, make some space for David Sheward to get 2 points. Because you got the right answer for the wrong reasons, actually. Leonard Nimoy didn't really distance himself. He put out 2 albums that were kind of very Shatner-esque in their space stuff, including a single he released called Highly Illogical. But there was no album called...
There's no album, okay.
Leonard Nimoy. But yeah, no, Highly Illogical is a very catchy little number about the absurdity of Earth. Actually, if it's a shame Leonard Nimoy never played in The Tempest, because then you could say "Live Long and Prospero."
And it could go like this at the very end.
Yeah. Okay. David Sheward has 4 points now, which means that he is coming up on
neck and neck almost. Go ahead.
Yeah. But this question goes to Leslie, who can get on the board now. So Leslie,
sure she can.
Here's a question.
In Venezuela, in Caracas, I can get on the board. Go ahead.
Here's a question, and it's in our wheelhouse. Here we go. Born today, and he would have turned 101 years old today. Tennessee Williams was born on this date in Columbus, Mississippi. His early work in a shoe factory, followed by a nervous breakdown, fueled the plays that would make him one of America's foremost playwrights. Less well known are his many one-act plays, which he wrote throughout his life. 3 of the following are one-acts he penned back in the 1930s. One isn't a Williams play at all, which is The Imposter. Okay. A, The Fat Man's Wife. B, Why Do You Smoke So Much, Lily? C, Cairo, Shanghai, Bombay. Or D, People in the Wind.
Which one isn't one of his?
Which is not a Tennessee.
So it's The Fat Man's Wife. Why Do You Smoke So Much, Lily? Is that the name of it? Cairo, something, something, and People in the Wind.
Right.
I think People in the Wind sounds more like his poetry. I believe I read The Fat Man's Wife. Now it's going to turn out to be that doesn't exist and I'm making it up. So I'm going to go between Smoke and Cairo. And the way you read it was very expressive, David. I'm going to say Cairo and blah, blah, and whatever.
Is not a Tennessee Williams.
Is not a Tennessee Williams.
Final answer?
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for that vote of confidence. Yes.
Cairo, Shanghai, Bombay, Purgatory. It's wrong. No, that is not that was a Tennessee.
I'm batting 1,000 today, guys.
Sorry, Les. Wanted to get you on the board with that one. Let's.
I got it up. That's all I can tell you.
Did last night.
Wait. Here we go.
Thank you,
Leslie. You're walking right into it.
I know. I'm telling you, I might as well just go back.
And I said that this morning.
Oh, David Sheward, you can tie.
Lord.
I don't even know.
What is going on with you over there?
I don't know. I don't know.
David Sheward has a steal opportunity here and can tie the game if you get this right.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know this. Okay, The Fat Man's Wife is a play. It was done at Manhattan Theater Club with Kathleen Chalfant and David Raish.
Really?
Yeah, and it was about a fat producer, and Kathleen Chalfant was the wife. And there was a character who was like a young Tennessee Williams who sort of falls in love with her. Oh. Why Do You Smoke So Much, Lily? It's another. I don't know if that was performed or not, but it is in a volume of plays he did. And so it's People in the Wind, which may be, you may be right, maybe a poem, but I think it's People in the Wind, I think.
Wow. Is that your final? I just love listening to it. I'm not even going to bother with it. Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is People in the Wind. David Sheward gets 2 points, but what's interesting?
Now we're tied. Darn it.
Well, I like the excitement.
It's 4-4?
But
6-6?
Oh, 6-6.
6-6. And People in the Wind is not a Tennessee Williams poem. It's actually a play by...
William Saroyan?
No. By William Quade.
Oh,
Oh, William
Inch.
Inge. Oh.
Which he expanded ultimately, and it became Bus Stop.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Okay.
That should have been called People in the Diner, not People in the Wing.
Yeah.
Well, he moved them into the diner in the large.
I know.
And I think Cairo, the Cairo play is about a bunch of people. Somebody wants to go on a ship and become a sailor or something.
That sounds very O'Neillian, but no, that was a real.
Poor William Inge. Now there's a lost soul.
Very sad.
Poor William Inge. Anyway.
And
they were friends, William and Williams.
I know.
Oh, they knew each other. I didn't know. I thought they were from.
Yeah, they knew each other.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, thank you for that history. That's one of the reasons I love doing the quiz. Is picking up
there was a program of little performed Williams acts, I think, called 5 by 10 in the.
Oh! I remember the show. I didn't remember what was in it. I didn't remember that Kathy was in it. That's very interesting.
She was in it. She was in it. Who else was in it? Robert Sella was in it.
Wow.
Kathy Marchand? Who calls her?
Kathy Chalfant.
Oh, Chalfant. Even
Kathleen Chalfant.
She's Catherine. I mean, Catherine.
I think
her name is Kathleen, but I happen to know her. So.
And I think Penny Fuller was in it too.
Wow. Okay. Friend of the.
It's a great idea. We should do that. We should put that on again. It's a great idea.
Cool. All right, here's the deal. We have just finished round 2 of our Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By. We've got a wonderful game. We've got Vicki and David tied with 6 points.
Right, Leslie is sitting out here going,
But even Leslie is not quite out of it, because if she steals the 3 questions in
right, if I steal all 3 of them, I can tie with you guys.
It could.
By the way, David, it's BCCBC, which makes no sense at all.
No, the one we just did was D.
Yeah, it was D.
Oh, okay. Thank you. See, I should go back to bed. I shouldn't even be here.
It's BCC.
That's what you said last night. I know.
Yeah.
It's BCCBD. I got it.
After the 50-50.
All right, here we go. We come to our 3rd round now. This is where it all, this.
Congratulations to the two tied people.
Yes.
The 2 tied people.
Yes, the 2 tied people. TIDE, tied. Yes.
Here we go.
I expect to get a year's free supply. Thank you.
Well, it is. Exactly. It is a podcast, so now we can have tied pods. Oh, all right. Here we go. I'm sorry to say this, David Sheward, but your next question is 3 clues in the news.
Okay, that's fine. I got the last one, so don't be sorry.
Did. It was good.
You do.
3 words not related to each other.
Okay.
What we're looking for. Are you ready?
Yes.
The words are rice.
Rice.
Out. Sugar.
Oh, I know.
Huh. Condensed. Brown.
No, but good.
Brown. I'm going to say Brown. And it's because that's the middle name of the Supreme Court nominee.
Yeah, right.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Well, you've gone right from what? No, I need a pun.
Leslie, did you get that? I got that one right away.
I was on the cusp of finding it, but it's okay. I didn't get it right away now.
But David, you are absolutely right. It's Ketanji Brown Jackson, her confirmation hearing.
He gets an extra point.
Because he figured out.
Dr. Sue points.
Yeah.
Sue points.
No, I ain't no Dr. Sue.
Did any of you watch any of those?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Yeah.
Watch what they said to her, the terrible way they treated her.
Yeah, bits and pieces on the news.
Awful.
You knew that was coming, though. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
But it was the smile and and then it's just they're unbelievable. They're just unbelievable.
It's very clear.
I can't even go there.
It's very clear what's happening. It's all these Republican senators are just posturing and signaling to the Trump base, "Hey, look, I'm for you. I don't like trans athletes, and I don't like porn." Yeah.
Right.
So and I don't like Black women trying to be uppity. That's the basics of it.
Well, they won't say. Nobody's saying that, but No,
I don't think they are. No,
they don't have to. It's right there. Yeah, it's right there.
That's the bottom line.
And
how dare she be? How dare she be brilliant and have a wonderful family? And
what's interesting is that several GOP judges who were appointed by Trump had the same sentences for people who violated child porn laws.
Yep.
And who were like convicted of looking at. I think they were looking at it, not peddling it, but looking at it. Is that right? Am I wrong or am I wrong?
No, I think you're right. And the Democratic senators kept coming in to say, okay, you're wrong about that. Here's what the truth is. But of course, you know,
the news,
nobody listens to the side they don't want to listen to. Right.
Yeah.
Although actually, the thing is that the Republicans are using these racial dog whistles, if you will. So it's not only as a black woman, she's a puppety black woman. It's dog whistle.
Oh, well, that's kind of, yeah, okay.
It's called hegemony and patriarchy.
It was
I
funny
think
for 45
puppety
seconds.
comes with strings, David.
Hegemony and hegemony and patriarchy.
We have a question. We have a question here for Vicki Quade, who is now 2 points behind.
I know.
Come on, Vicki, you can do it. Come on, Vicki, you can do it.
I can do this.
1924 was the year.
All right.
Half a year after its Broadway debut, George Bernard Shaw's St. Joan premieres in London, starring Sybil Thorndike as the Maid of Orleans. Which of these is false about Joan of Arc?
Oh, okay.
A. To escape captivity, one time Joan leapt from a 70-foot high tower. B. Mark Twain wrote a book about her. C. In the 1999 TV miniseries Joan of Arc, Joan was played by Lili Sobieski. Or D. The banner Joan carried into battle is kept in the birthplace of Joan of Arc Museum in Domremy, but because of its condition, it's on display only on the week of her birthday.
Oh, the banner is an interesting question. You know, they think they found the suit of armor that she wore. That was several years ago.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, they thought they found the suit of armor. I don't remember the Joan of Arc TV. I mean, I remember it, but I don't remember who starred as Joan. And Mark Twain. I should know that. I think that's true. And what was the first one?
I'll read them all again, and we're figuring out which is false. Here we go. A. To escape captivity.
Oh, yeah, she jumped.
One time she jumped from a 70-foot high tower. B. Mark Twain wrote a book about her. C. The 1999 TV miniseries Joan of Arc starred Joan, or Lili Sobieski starred as Joan. Or D. The banner Joan carried into battle is kept in the birthplace of Joan of Arc Museum in Domremy, but because of its condition, it's on display only on the week of her birthday.
I'm going to say the banner.
Is that?
Which letter?
That's
D.
That's D.
Final answer?
Yeah, sure.
Well, we're not going to ban her from this show because Vicki Quade just got herself 2 amazing points to tie the game. Yay!
You know why? That's something I would remember.
Wait, that's false or that's true?
It's false.
Okay.
In fact, it's a sad thing. What happened was the banner and most of her belongings were burned during the French Revolution.
That's right.
Maybe they saved her armor, but they didn't save that.
They didn't save it, but somebody had the armor and it fit her size and it had a hole where they thought that it had been pierced and she had been wounded.
Oh, I was wondering.
Everything seemed to fit, but they can't confirm it. But
she wouldn't have needed a fly, you know. I mean,
have any of you ever been to Reims? It's a wine capital, and it's going toward Normandy from Paris. It's to the north. Anyway, there's a cathedral in Reims, a beautiful cathedral, and you walk in, and there's a life-size porcelain figure of Joan of Arc.
Yeah.
I mean, and life size means she was like 4'9" or something.
She's tiny. She was tiny.
But I walked in and I had this overwhelming urge. First, I started to cry. I mean, this is as an adult. And then I got so angry because first they burn her and then they build her a fucking statue. I was so angry, you know, and it sums up
usually
everything
happens
that's wrong with
saints,
this world.
you know. Usually,
sorry.
They don't, and usually saints' lives don't end well, and,
yeah,
and then they put on stained.
Why they become saints?
You don't become a saint because you have a hangnail. It's usually something really bad. Yeah. Something tragic happens.
Wait, Saint Albertina of Thwack did that. She had a hangnail, and it kept growing, and and it was a miracle because it grew to be 8 miles long, and nobody knew. So anyway, sorry.
Well, hey, you know what? Jesus Christ died because of his nails. So there you go.
Oh.
They weren't his.
Thank you.
And I do remember watching the Joan of Arc miniseries.
Yeah.
But it was called The Messenger. It wasn't called Joan of Arc. Wasn't that The Messenger? No, that was, I know, that was somebody else.
That was a
Right.
movie.
Yeah, but it was Lily Sobieski. I remember that.
And she was
Whatever happened
Polish.
to Lily Sobieski?
Well, I think, wasn't she in Eyes Wide Shut? She had a small role in that.
Like I said, whatever happened to Lily
Yeah, that was 25 years ago at this. By the way, I want to give you a little more information about Saint Joan. She did jump from that tower. She landed apparently on a soft earth, on a moat or a dry moat of earth.
But she had a permanent deformity. She had a permanent deformity because of that.
Oh, did she really? Oh.
I don't remember what it was. It was a rib or an arm, but whatever it was. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I did not. And Mark Twain wrote the book Personal Recollections of Joan of Arc by the Sieur Louis de Conte in 1896. So that was true. He wrote a book about her. A lot of people wrote about her. But well done. Oh my God, who that somebody just tied the game though. It was Vicki, right? Vicki?
Yes,
No,
so it's
I have
8 to 8. Is
I've
it
gone,
8 to 8 now?
I've gone ahead. No, it's 8 to 6.
It
8
was
to
8 to
6.
6. That was 8 to, it's 8.
Even better.
Oh, it's
yeah, I
8 to
can
8.
steal the whole thing. I can make it all up in my one question.
Wait,
Go
so
ahead.
we're tied now, right?
Who has 8? Who has 6?
No,
You both have
Vicki.
8 now. You both
have 8.
Oh, we
Both have
both have 8.
That's what I thought.
We both have 8.
Otherwise, it wouldn't be a tie.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. Here's the
come on, Leslie.
now Leslie
Thank you, Vicki.
get on the board, or this could be the deciding question if Leslie doesn't get it, of who wins.
Yes, it could very well be that.
Here we go, Leslie.
I'm going to miss it so you guys get.
No, play.
Why
play
did you
the
get
game.
2 points? Come on, Leslie.
Play the game.
Oh, thank you, Vicki.
It's
I
your
appreciate
birthday.
that.
Oh, Leslie, it's your birthday.
So Leslie, here we go. This is not a multiple choice. All right.
Uh-oh.
The year was 1999. So we're going to party. Don't open that email. Microsoft and Outlook-based systems were hit with a mass mailing macrovirus that slowed traffic and caused millions of dollars in damage by disrupting personal and government computer networks. The virus had a 3-syllable girl's name. What was it?
I thought it was Trojan, so I don't have any idea what it was called. Don't say it, David. Whatever you were going to say, don't say
I
it.
didn't say anything.
Wait a minute. Let me think for a minute. Let me try to throw myself back to 1999, which is a real throwback.
I was going to say Trojan, but I got horse. Yeah.
I have no idea. Truly, I nothing.
So do you want to pass?
Eleanor. I don't know. I
Oh,
mean,
it's 3 syllable. Oh, 3 syllables.
Eleanor is 3 syllables. Yes,
Yeah.
but it doesn't matter.
Well, and Eleanor may be sitting in a church with the rice where Roy has been, but she's not part of this question. So we're gonna. This is unbelievable. This is incredible. We're gonna roll a die. And comes up a 5, which is useless to us, I believe. Yep. Okay. It comes up a 5 again.
I'm going to make earrings out of my 0 for this. I'm going to make two cylindrical earrings.
We'll just call you a goose egg.
Goose egg.
Roll
I'm
the
going to
die.
wear them proudly.
All right. This is David Sheward.
Oh dear, yes.
It comes up
Oh.
with your number here.
All right, I do remember this happening vaguely, but I don't remember the name of the virus. So 3-syllable girl's name. I don't remember.
COVID?
I'm gonna say Sally Jesse Raphael.
That's a 3-name girl's name, but is that your final answer?
Yeah.
No.
Is it Karen?
Remember, whatever happened to Sally Jesse Raphael, come to think of it.
Felicia?
All right. I don't remember exactly, but I kind of vaguely. I'm going to say Cassandra.
Oh, great name. Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
No, it's not Cassandra. I couldn't think of a name or a joke about that. But no, it wasn't either one of those. You're going
What was
to
it
probably
called?
kick yourselves. Back in 1999, the massive macro virus that was sent out was, I'll give you a hint, so we can all jump in, won't count for points.
Yeah.
Starts with an M.
Miranda.
Mary Jane, Blige.
Melinda.
Maribel. I don't know.
Close. What? Melissa.
Nothing.
The
Melissa.
Melissa virus.
I don't remember this at all.
Oh,
Doesn't ring a bell.
Really?
Totally meaningless name. It has no concept of any kind.
Why didn't
Must
you
have
make
been
it
some guy's
multiple choice?
girlfriend.
Oh, well, I guess I could have pulled because I thought maybe if you heard the name Melissa, it would be too
No,
obvious.
it doesn't ring a bell at all.
No. What was it? The name of the guy's girlfriend or something? A guy who made the virus?
Now, see, you're being sexist. It could have been the girl who did it, and it could have been her name.
True. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
They know who did
it's
it.
worse than being sexist. I'm being like all over the board, non-PC.
But here's the deal: the guy who created David L. Smith got only 20 months in prison because he helped the FBI catch other hackers and people like that. So
Yeah.
that was a big deal. It was I wouldn't have remembered the name, but I remember.
Does it
Yeah,
say
I know the
why? Does
incident.
it say why it was Melissa?
Check his wiki. I don't remember. I really don't. And you can't find anything about him. They probably have him in like changed his name and moved somewhere because after the initial prison sentence,
He's probably working for FBI.
I'm surprised there's only been one that was that big, you know, in all this time since then. I'm surprised.
The Russians.
Oh, it's coming. Come on, it's coming. Whatever
The
it is,
Russians
it's
are
coming.
probably working on one.
Absolutely. Well,
On my Android phone, all of my folders are empty. My password folder and all of my folders are empty. They still exist on my computer, but on my phone, they're gone.
wow. Yeah, they took all my animal porn, and which is
God, David.
What? It's not bad. All right, we've got a.
Remember in Ireland?
Are you a fuzzy? Are you a furry? Wait a minute. Are you a furry?
Oh, no,
Yeah, look how furry I am.
You're not a furry, honey. You don't do that.
Oh, I've never tried.
No, not hairy. Furry. Big difference.
I want to be like the old man and his ass.
David is.
Play the tie game. One of them has to win.
So here's the deal. That's true. Get your pens and papers or whatever ready because our tiebreaker works a little differently, folks. We have a tie game between David and Vicki, although Leslie can also just chime in.
I'm just here to applaud the winner.
No,
That's all.
Shouldn't this be like Jeopardy? If you have no points, you have to drop out.
I have to leave the room right. I have to leave now.
No, I'm kidding.
Thanks, David. No, I know.
I'm kidding.
That's all for fun anyway. But here's the deal: whoever gets this question right, if either,
till it's over.
Yeah.
It ain't over till it's
so
over.
it can be a tie. We can wind up with a tie, or Vicki or David can win if they get this non-multiple choice question correct. There's another fill in.
Okay.
The year was 1942. Born today in New York is this author, a Barnard and Columbia graduate who wrote 3 books about fictional character Isadora Wing, a married journalist slowly extricating herself from an unfulfilling marriage. Name that writer who closed her trilogy with Parachutes and Kisses.
Oh, David's got it already.
I see that, and Leslie's got it too.
Say it again.
Well, I gotta wait for Vicki to.
Wait. I haven't written anything down because I was laughing.
Sure.
Okay, so the author.
Born today in 1942.
1942.
In New York is this Barnard and Columbia graduate who wrote 3 books about fictional character Isadora Wing, a married journalist slowly extricating herself from an unfulfilling marriage. Name that writer who closed her trilogy with Parachutes and Kisses. A lot of clues in there.
You don't say if we're not.
A lot of clues. Yeah, and I should know this. God.
Oh, the game hangs on this, Vicki.
I know that.
Actually, it's either going to be a tie or it's going to be because I'm seeing from David. He's got that cocky David, sit down strut going.
Oh, he's
just sitting on a chair that revolves. That's all you think he's doing.
Yeah.
He's just revolving on his chair.
I don't know. All right, go ahead.
Put down Easter Bunny bingo.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
All
Right.
All right, I'm going to read the question one more time, and then I'll give a 3, 2, 1, and we'll see who's got
I
it.
can't remember the name of the first book, which was the really famous one. I remember that
I'll tell you
one
once
word title. I don't remember the name of it. But I know who
yourself. Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Here we
You'll
go.
tell us after. Okay.
And remember, there's so many. Since you've already gotten your answers written, I'll give some shout hints of what the clues are here. 1942. Born today in New York is this author, a Barnard and Columbia graduate who wrote 3 books about fictional character Isadora Wing. I just got that. A married journalist slowly extricating herself from an unfulfilling marriage. Name that writer who closed her trilogy with parachutes and kisses. 3, 2, 1. Let's see him. Vicki, I'm afraid it's not Ghosts and Godders of the Chicago kind. It is as
Erica John.
Erica John.
Sorry.
What was the name of the first book?
Fear of Flying.
Fear of Flying.
I knew flying was it. I couldn't come up with it. It would not come to me.
Yeah, Fear of Flying, very popular book.
And then it was How to Save Your Own Life, I think.
Erica? Was it Erica?
It was mandatory reading at the time that it came out, as far as I was concerned. Mandatory.
And I think there was actually a fourth one after Parachute.
I did not see that. I mean, at least as far as I don't think there was an actual sequel.
Well, David, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congrats. I'll give you the big hand. David, this is the big hand. Okay, that's...
Yeah, no, seriously, David. Well, I mean, you win, I would say probably 60 to 70% of the games, not all, but this was a hard fought. I mean, Vicki really brought...
Thank you.
Darn it.
And I didn't bring my brain, so that helped,
He left it with the Wizard of Oz or something?
I did. He tucked it under his arm as he left this morning. What can I say,
Well, congratulations to David Sheward. So
everybody needs to play with their pants off.
Yeah, maybe you need to air out your privates, and that was.
Yeah, no.
Waiting for him to stand up. I'm not leaving.
Yeah, no.
So while we have a couple of minutes before I let you guys go, and David goes off to see his matinee, but Leslie, you haven't really specified, or you may not want to talk about it until you do it, on the thing with Charlie. But what was it about Company that you kind of stood back from?
Well, as I say, I'm at it. Okay, I was terribly, terribly disappointed in the staging. I found it banal. All of that gray gave me a real bit of agita. I thought one or two of the sets, I understood the 35 and the little and the big and all of that, but I didn't see the point of it. As I said, the switching of the traits from the dumb blonde girl to the dumb blonde boy really irked me.
Okay.
And I thought the character playing the another 100 people was cast completely wrong.
Oh, wow.
And for the first time in all the times I've seen her when I have adored her, I didn't think Katrina Lenk had what it took to be as long as she didn't sing, it was okay. But she did not have the singing voice for the part, or they didn't put it in her key, or something was wrong.
So you really.
So those are a few of my. That's just my superficial off the top of my head.
Whereas David Sheward, you've seen Company. I hope I'll see it before the end of the season. You disagree on most, or you were fine with it?
No, I enjoyed it very much. There were some wrinkles where the gender swap didn't quite work, but I think overall it worked pretty well. I mean, it was interesting, because women have this pressure to get married and settle down by a certain age, so that added a impetus to her. Oh, you're 35. We're going to settle down, have a baby, Bobby. And I just thought it were a couple of spots where it didn't quite make sense, but I had no problem with the airline steward instead of stewardess, and the gay couple instead being kind of getting married today, which I thought made sense.
Certainly, yeah.
If I just may, the person I went with had never seen it. Mm-hmm. It was a brand new play to her. And she kept saying, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. So obviously,
good.
My problem is that I've seen it, and it's the switch that I have difficulty with in places. But the staging is the staging, the colors and the choices.
Well, I thought it worked. It was kind of like I saw that her inspiration and this Bunny Christie's, the set designer's inspiration was Alice in Wonderland. And they were acting like Bobby is Alice in this sort of Manhattan Wonderland. And everybody's going to a mad tea party, and the sets get bigger and smaller.
So yeah, I got it. I just didn't like it. And having played Joanne, I wish that they had let me do it the way that Patti LuPone did it, because I could not dance, and they put me into the chorus that there was a dance line. And I wanted to sit on the side with a cup of tea, or a drink, and just sing my song, and they didn't let me do that. So.
Wow.
But I love Patti LuPone.
Leslie, that you're sorry you went to see Company, whereas David, you're grateful. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Okay.
Little company.
Before we go, everyone look nice and smile, because I've been taking photos and sending them to Dave. Okay, you ready? Look right up.
Oh, it's
I'll
raining.
take a couple. Just let that go off. Hold on 2 seconds. And then I'll tell you something else here. Okay. Okay, good.
Oh, did I gesture
did.
while you did that?
Are you
You did.
putting us in a book? What are you doing with us?
No,
Are
no,
we
I'm
going
just
in the
sending
show?
them
Sending
to
them
Dave.
and then I can put them
Oh,
on.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Now, David
Yeah,
Sheward.
By the way, could you give me Vicky's? I want to send her pictures of my kids when I went away last weekend, and I don't have Vicky's info.
Oh, I can send it to you too.
Yeah, not on
If
here.
are you on Facebook, Leslie?
No, I'm not. That's why
Oh, okay.
I never get
All
to
right.
watch this until it
All
puts it on
Uh,
YouTube.
So I can give her
Please, if you wouldn't mind.
Okay.
off the
Thank
air.
Now, and then I wanted to say this week I'm going to the Goodman to see Sean Hayes in Good
Oh,
Night.
and
Well,
Oscar
that got an
Levant.
amazing review.
Oh,
Yeah.
I want to know. I
It's
want you
Oscar
have to come
Levant,
and tell
yeah.
us.
Yeah,
It's
that should
getting
be interesting.
amazing reviews, really, just amazing reviews. And people I know who have seen it
Yeah.
are telling me you got to see this. If you see nothing else, see this.
There's an interview on YouTube, an interview with Oscar Levant. So if you see that and then you watch the interview, but I hope that comes to Broadway. I really
Oh,
do.
everyone is saying it's going to be,
After
and people have said
Christmas
it's like a
review,
Tony
it's
nomination.
Sean
shooting,
Hayes
you know.
is an underestimated actor. Underestimated? That's not the right word.
That's a word.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
Underappreciated.
Underappreciated. I'm having trouble this morning with everything. Underappreciated actor. He was fantastic as Jerry Lewis when he played in the Martin and Lewis story. He has he's a really fine actor.
Well,
And I hope that this is what will make him, really known for that.
And bring back Oscar Levant. I mean, I
And
remember
bring
Oscar
back
Levant.
Oscar Levant, right?
The idea, a lot of people have no idea
Yeah.
who
I
he
know.
was.
I know.
I mean, really, my kids have no idea. So it's very much a generational thing. But the Goodman's getting a lot of younger people coming to see it too. So
That's great.
So David Sheward.
Well, they're coming because of Will and Grace. They're coming
That's
to
it.
see
Yes.
Sean Hayes, of course.
Yes.
What did you? We were talking before about Company, but you saw that a few weeks ago,
Mhm.
and nobody has yet seen the Oscar Levant play. But you probably went to the theater this past week, saw something that you're writing about for culture. Oh, you saw.
you saw
Oh,
that?
I'm
Finally.
supposed to see that.
Miles Frost, the guy who plays Michael Jackson in this, the adult Michael Jackson in this, injured his foot just around the opening when I was supposed to go, just after the opening. So I had to wait until he was back in the show in order to see it. So I saw that on Tuesday. So I will, and I'm seeing Plaza Suite this afternoon. So I plan to write about both of those things. The Michael Jackson musical was very interesting. The audience was really into it. They brought little kids, like 7 and 8 year old kids, which
They're
was
safe. It's not like Michael's alive and we'll take them.
no.
back.
I meant that's a bit young to go out on a Tuesday night and sit in the front row and jump up and down and distract me. It was very annoying.
But Michael Jackson's music is everywhere.
Yeah.
In Singapore, they were playing it in the gardens, and my son was just in Dubai, and they were playing it in some outdoor. I mean,
I really can't blame. I mean, the show had to go ahead with the approval of the estate.
Of course.
So the book writer
Is it
Lynn Nottage.
sanitized? Is it both?
Yes,
Yeah.
Lynn Nottage, the Pulitzer Prize winning playwright who wrote the book, her hands are tied about really getting into it, and she was kind of given the job of, like, you're a carpenter, and it's your job to build a structure so we can showcase the numbers.
Well, okay. I mean, like a jukebox.
Not your job to look into any of this other stuff. And sort of skirts around the deeper issues. So it's very entertaining. Christopher Wheeldon, who is the director and choreographer, he's a brilliant stager, and it's the lighting. Natasha Katz's lighting is fantastic as always.
So it's worth seeing.
The dancing is amazing. Amazing.
They're going to get me in, so that David Lefkowitz, if you're interested in coming in, they're going to get me in to see it also. I'm trying to pick up on the shows I didn't see, which is why I saw Company. So I'll see it very close to when you saw it, David.
One other thing is that the Oscars are Sunday, and my predictions are on the David Desk and on Theater Life.
So you can.
Okay,
You want
Best
to
Picture?
put some money down on that?
Yeah.
I'll go look and I'll
What
bet
is-
you.
What were you
the
going to
best
say,
picture?
David? David, what were David Lefkowitz?
I was.
Posted it in chat.
I was going to say, I was just going to tell people, theaterlife.com is the website.
Yes,
Whereas the David Desk, it's not .com. You have to kind of search for
that's
it.
the blog.
Yeah. Joyce has put it on the Facebook page.
Well, I think I think Coda is going to win Best Picture. I don't want it to, but it probably is. I want Power of the Dog to win, and it follows a pattern of,
Right.
the safe, cozy, feel-good movie wins out over the more complex, difficult, challenging movie, which is what this is. Not always. Parasite won, and 12 Years a Slave won. But this is an instance of a very nice, safe, cozy, conventional, triumphing over adversity kind of a movie, with the hearing daughter of a deaf family becoming, pursuing her dreams and getting into Juilliard. And her family sneaks into the audition, and they're in the balcony cheering her on, even though they can't hear her. It's like, that doesn't happen in real life.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so this week, Charlie and I both watched the 1961 West Side Story and the 2021 West Side Story, and we're doing a comparison online.
Good idea.
But
Yeah.
but I want West Side Story to win. Now that I've seen it, I want West Side Story.
I
to
do
win.
too. That or Power of the Dog, but I think it will get Ariana DeBose will get Best Supporting Actress.
That would seem to be a given. Yeah.
I think she'll win, but that will be its only Oscar. I have a feeling.
I saw Licorice Pizza and
Oh, yeah?
cannot get that 2 hours back.
Whoa.
Even with Harriet Harris and Christine Ebersol.
What about,
Other than that, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman's son. I really
Yes.
have no reason to want to see it.
It's Harriet Harris and who did I just say? Christine Ebersol are very funny in their brief scenes, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was an interesting picture. I like the direction and the references to other movies, and the sort of portrait of 1970s Hollywood, and
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting film, and it probably will get original screenplay. That's the
Oh,
one.
you
Yes,
think?
I think
Okay.
it will get that. They'll give it something. But
Do
yeah.
you think Tony Kushner will get anything for adapting West Side Story?
I don't think he's even nominated. He's not
Oh,
nominated.
that's a shame because he did a brilliant job on
Yeah,
West Side
he's
Story.
not even
Brilliant.
nominated, I don't think.
It's one of his best pieces of work, I think.
wow.
Have you seen Nightmare Alley?
Yes.
Yes,
I saw that, and then I watched the original,
me too.
and that's an interesting thing to compare those two.
Have no idea why they bothered to make it again.
Is Nightmare
Yeah, no.
the
no.
brother of Kirstie Alley? I'm not sure of the.
Yeah.
Yes, it's her sister.
My sister. This is my sister.
It's the one where you say, my sister is a nightmare. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah, that's that.
That's
Ladies and
the
gentlemen,
alley,
we've been
right.
I
talking.
think I'm a nightmare. Get a load of my sister.
Oh. You've been watching the Today Yesterday quiz on Dave's Gone By, featuring Leslie Hoban Blake, whom you can watch with Charlie Gross on Critics Circle on their YouTube page called Critics Circle. You can read David Sheward at the David Desk, his blog, culturaldaily.com and theaterlife.com. And of course, Vicki Quade, she is doing 2 shows in repertory in Chicago at the Greenhouse Theater. One of them is, of course, the beloved Late Night Catechism, and the other is the soon-to-be beloved Easter
Bunny Bingo.
Bunny Bingo.
I also did my game show about 10 days ago. Are you smarter than your 8th grade nun?
Is that coming back? Can people see that soon again? Or
It's brand new, and I've only done it a few times, but it's really ready now to have it out. So yeah.
To find out all the stuff that Vicki is doing in Chicago and go see it, go to nuns4fun.com. Nuns number 4 fun.com.
Right.
Guys, I want to wish you a most happy springtime, a great, wonderful week. God willing, we'll see ya all, well, we'll see a couple of you at least very soon, if not next week. And just be safe and tell us more about the theater next week.
All right.
Thank
See you
you.
later.
Why?
Get Peter Noone up so I can watch it.
I will. You'll have to get him.
He
up.
was good.
It's more your
All right,
style.
bye-bye.
Anyway, bye, Vicki.
Have a good
Bye,
day.
Have a great one. Bye, David. Enjoy your shows. And see you next week, Leslie.
Take care, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Okay, it is just about noon here in the Daverhood, where you're watching the Dave's Gone By Facebook podcast program over the stream with me, Dave Lefkowitz, my wonderful wife Joyce, and such wonderful guests that we have on the program. I want to give a shout out. I want to give a shout out to our great friends at Minuteman, Hewlett Minuteman Press. I can't do a commercial for them. I can't even do a sponsorship thing for them, just in case this goes on our cable thing that we do every Tuesday night. I'll tell you about that.
Yeah, it will.
But it's just a shout out, just to say, hey, the Torong family, who own and operate the Hewlett Minuteman Press franchise, they're really great. I've been dealing with them for many, many years now. They're actually helping me out with a little side project that I have to do for my dad's unveiling. So they're really good people. Check them out. If you need copying, if you need printing, binding, if you need what do they call stitching stuff on? I never get that word. Embroidery, yeah. Like if you have a team jacket or something like that, or you want your company's name or on a pen or something like that, you could go a lot of places. Just saying, one of the places that you could go is Hewlett Minuteman Press. Is all I'm going to say about that. In the heart of Hewlett, Long Island. Well, I also, since I brought it up, don't forget that our archives reside. Leslie was saying that she really wants to see our Peter Noone interview that we did earlier in the show. Well, she doesn't get Facebook. She's not, doesn't deal with Facebook, doesn't want to give away her credentials. Okay, she doesn't have to. She can watch a replay of this episode anytime in several ways. First of all, she can go to our website, davesgoneby.com. DAVESGONEBY. davesgoneby.com. And literally from our very first episode, 19 and a half years ago, all the way to the episode that we did last week, and everything pretty much in between is there for free. You can either download it or stream it right on your computer. There's even a separate archive of all like the novelty songs we've done, the skits, and of course all the wonderful interviews. It's all there for free. davesgoneby.com. We also load our archives up at archive.org. It's a not-for-profit website of gathering art and entertainment for millennia. And we have a channel there, the Dave's Gone By channel. It's the same stuff you'll find at davesgoneby.com. It's just nice to have that other outlet. We have a YouTube channel, the Dave's Gone By channel. We have our audio archives at castbox.fm for those of you who would rather listen as a podcast rather than have the visual experience. Fine, castbox.fm. And as I mentioned, Tuesday nights, 9:30 in the evening Eastern Time, for 1 hour, you can watch a random excerpt of the show if you live on Long Island, well, South Shore, Nassau County. If you have Altice Cablevision, Channel 20, 9:30 p.m. on Tuesday nights for 1 hour. It's not really the best way to see the show, but at least, hey, the show's out there in another way that you can see it. It's at Altice Channel 20, Tuesday nights at 9:30. Still, the best way to keep apprised of the show, to watch old episodes or listen to the older episodes that were radio programs only, davesgoneby.com. Plus, of course, you know that you can scroll down the last couple of years of the video shows we've done just right here on this Facebook page. Lots of ways to stay in tune with the Dave's Gone By show. So we've got a bit more to do on this episode of the program. We've got our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. We also want to give a shout out to our friends of the Daverhood. And oh, I know what we want to do. We want to bring Rabbi Saul back. You may not want to bring Rabbi Saul back, but I do. So tell you what, let's do some of the friends of the Daverhood. These are people who have been on the program in months or years past. We check in on them. We like to know what they're up to because we have the honor of having them on our show. And now it's like, oh, they're doing all this other cool stuff we want to tell you about. That is why we call it the wonderful Friends of the Daverhood. No. Come on. da, 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 da. So as a little Mozart plays in the background, let me let you know. Giving a shout out to James Morgan, who is the artistic director of Off-Broadway's York Theatre Company. He's also their resident set designer, and he is doing the set, or has done it, for a new musical called Penelope that is running at the York. I should have...
What is it about?
Girl named Penelope. I think it's a mythic Greeky thing, but I should have written...
Like Persephone or that kind of thing?
Something like that, I think. Only problem is, I forgot to note this down, that, no joke, they were going to be playing performances already, but they have some kind of COVID thing there, so they're starting April 3rd rather than this past week.
People time to get tickets.
Exactly. And it's being done at St. Jean's or St. Jean's Church over on East 76th Street, while the York Theatre's home is being redone after their big flood. Yeah, they've had a bad couple of years. Playing now through April 30th. I told you this would be extended. Eric Comstock and Barbara Fasano, they do once a week at Birdland doing their musical stuff. And it's Saturday nights tonight at 5:30 p.m. in Manhattan. Letting you know also that starting this weekend, starting actually tonight or today, is Steve Kaplan's Comedy Intensive, in person and streaming. Find out more at kaplancomedy.com. So if you've been meaning to write that funny screenplay or that funny play or TV show, this is the guy. Steve, he was one of the co-founders of Manhattan Punchline off-Broadway a couple of decades back. Now, this is what he does. He's kind of like the Robert McKee of comedy. It's Steve Kaplan. Go to kaplancomedy.com. Tonight, playing at the Emmeline Theater in Mamaroneck, New York, David Brozak. And then tomorrow, Sunday, wow. They were just being talked about. Barbara Blyer and an Austin Pendleton alert. They've been doing a cabaret show together. They're singing Steve and Oscar. Steve as in Sondheim, Oscar as in Hammerstein II, at Don't Tell Mama, their cabaret show that they're doing. So I'm sure they'll do sort of a shout out or a song dedicated to Barbara Meyer Gustern or whatever her name was, who was pushed to the ground a week and a half ago. And yeah, on Monday, Karen Mason is singing Candor Amp songs at Birdland. Go to birdlandjazz.com for tickets. On Monday, also in the afternoon, Bob Dishy is going to be acting with Blythe Danner in 3 one-act comedies. It will be in person, but also streaming at the same time from 80 St. Mark's Place. Yeah. And it's being directed by our friend Michael Citroniti, because he's connected to that theater company with Louise Lasser and our friend, Bob Dishy. So, who is married to Judy Grabart. Remember when they were on the program about a year ago. Jill Sabule is going to be at Joe's Pub on Lafayette Street. That is this coming Tuesday. Go see Jill Sabule. Also, starting on Tuesday and playing on Broadway, big new major musical called Mr. Saturday Night, and it features lyrics by Amanda Green. The guy who wrote it and is starring in it is a fellow named Billy Crystal. But our friend is Amanda Green. It's at the Nederlander Theater over on West 41st Street. Letting you know that this Thursday, Christine Petty is doing the Petty Party at the Green Room 42 in Manhattan. And then going on sale on Friday, April 1st, this is no fooling, Frank Ferrante's An Evening with Groucho DVD. Now, Frank has been doing this for 30-something years now. His Groucho Marx show, where it's an impersonation and a characterization. It's got a DVD now. It's going to be showing on PBS and available to buy at eveningwithgroucho.com. Playing now through the middle of April, I should say, Robert Cuccioli doing A Touch of the Poet at Irish Repertory Theater. Playing now on Broadway, you've got Chicago featuring Ray Bachur as Amos. You've got Aladdin featuring the music of Alan Menken. And playing every Monday night at Birdland, Jim Caruso's Cast Party. And then don't forget the wonderful website, stagebuddy.com, put together by our friend Evan Seplow. Dr. Demento playing new and old Doctor. He's got the whole archive there, and he's still doing brand new
Is it free?
Demento show. No, there is
Okay, so what's
a
the
small fee. It's like $2. Sorry.
a week or how?
Well, the thing is, his weekly show, I think, is $2 or $4 if you want it in, high quality audio stereo thing. And I think it's $2 or something to listen to an old episode.
What happens if I want to hear it through a tin can?
If you want to hear it through it, that you can probably get free. And don't forget, I shouldn't probably promote this, but KEGR, a radio station out in California, plays a Dr. Demento show, an old one from the 80s and 90s. Sometimes, also from the aughts. On Sunday nights, I think it's 10 o'clock Eastern time, 7 o'clock in California time. I either Dr. Demento's looking the other way, or he gave special dispensation.
You must know,
Yeah.
David. I don't think you don't know.
But if you need your fix of Dr. Demento and you don't want to go to the Demento website or sign up or get one of their plans, you can get a shot of it, an old 20, 30-year-old shot of Demento, just by listening to KEGR radio online on Sunday nights. Want to remind you that Bob Cudmore does podcasts about upstate New York. Oh, we ran out of the music there.
What happened?
I'm going to play that again, yeah. Let's play a little more Mozart, shall we? We shall. Come on, Mozi. Ha Mozart lechem min haaretz. We know this one. Better. All right. So Bob Cudmore, bobcudmore.com. Stuart Brown is the founder of soundsofbroadway.com, 24/7 of Broadway theater music. Jackie Martling is doing his own weekly video podcast called Stand Up Memories, which is co-hosted by Peter Bales. You can find out more about that at jokeland.com. It's a shame, kind of a shame that Jackie used to send out a monthly email with dozens of jokes. Most of them really horrible and sick and funny, but kind of look forward to it. You get this in your mail and you figure you just tell 2 or 3 jokes, which was really a method of promoting his appearances on the East Coast and playing at places like Governors and stuff. And he was not selfish about the joke, just keep them coming. But he stopped doing that. It just was going to spam folders and it wasn't worth it anymore. It couldn't keep track. So
It's a shame.
he's still performing, and you can watch his podcast. It's at jokeland.com, and the
You should
podcast is
also thank cousin Cynthia. She tried to play, but the only one they got right is the one that her husband Jeff was
oh
called in. You know.
oh I think, well, we got to get them back on the show at some point. They're living together again. My cousins had to not separate. They had to live a coast apart because she had to teach in New York and he was in Vegas.
Vegas is on the coast.
Okay, so, all right, so you're right. It's almost coast. They are in that other time zone.
They're by Sidio.
By
Two
what?
cities, by Sidio.
It's bicydial, yeah.
By Homeo?
Well, that's it. And we used to learn about binomials. I don't know if that's any. What is a binomial? It's 2 numbers. What?
Binomial equation, polynomial. It's when there are many unknowns, I think.
Okay. Well, there's known knowns and there's known unknowns, but it's the unknown unknowns that we really have to worry about. And finally, my friends, don't forget to read for free plays by Charles L. Mee at charlesmee.org. And those, my friends, are the friends of the Daverhood. Oh, let me get that music up. So I'm going to step away from the camera for just a moment while Rabbi Saul comes at you. Very goyish music, but it's nice. Oh, shalom, my friends. Shalom, my enemies. Shalom, goddammit. This is your old pal, Rabbi Saul Solomon, founder, spiritual leader. it's a mess today, let me tell you. But it is always a delight to be with you and the Daverhood family of Dave Lefkowitz, who runs this show. I, Rabbi Sol Solomon. It's a busy time for me. Between the Purim and the Passover and cleaning everything. All right, I pay someone to clean everything, but still.
Dave, a rabbi, your temple is like 2 feet by 2 feet. It's not a big room.
No, it isn't. It's barely, it's from here to here. This is my temples. But okay, this is what we love to do, especially this time of year of all the holidays. I love to go through the newspapers of the local town that we're, the hyper-local town, if you will, because I get hyper and I'm local. But this is the thing. These actual, real, brand Jewish newspapers that are done for the Jewish community of Long Island. And there's 5 or 6 of them. It's wonderful. It's an incredible waste of paper, but I love it. So, and one of the things I love to do is go through these actual, real, they're in English, they're Jewish-oriented newspapers in English, and share with you things that delight me and excite me and amuse me, and I hope they will you. For example, Playboy magazine has these beautiful hot people on the cover. They're back when they were, I don't know if they're still around, but yeah, right, and GQ has these guys. What about this fella? What about this? This is the cover person for the Jewish home. Would you let him into your Jewish home? I don't know. Not the friendliest sort. I could be just mistaking this just from his look, but this is I guess he would not trust either of us. I don't know where I'm going with that, but anyway, this is the actual cover of the Jewish Home magazine. Is there anything else on this that's funny? No, just him. But come on. I think he should be the next mascot of the Long Island Ducks. I really do. But let's move on to this. Can there be a more Jewish ad than this? Struggling, suffering, searching, waiting. And of course, this guy is like playing in his pup tent there. I don't know what's going on with that. And a nice little mezuzah. Struggling, suffering, searching, waiting. The worst name for a law firm I've ever seen. What is this even for? Well, whatever it is, it'll be coming to New York. So look out, be on the lookout if you want to do all of these things. I know I do. All right. Now, this is an ad that kind of intrigues me. Here we go.
Oh my goodness.
Now I know David and is busy helping his mother plan a bit for his father's yard site. So remember that yard site should be meaningful. It should. But what? What's with the South Park characters? What? Look at the animations on this.
What is that Cartman?
Well, Kenny. It must be Kenny who died. Yeah, it's Cartman. And
that's not tasteful.
They're praying over Kenny because he dies in every episode. Yeah, book a minion. You can book a minion for your unhappy, sad event. And you can get the South Park characters there too. So isn't that wonderful? I think that's delightful right there. Speaking of characters, something I would never, ever, ever want to do, pour him in the jungle. I guess for Jewish people, this just means having it in certain parts of Far Rockaway. But yeah, let's see what they have here. The Megillah. Megillah reading. So they read the whole Megillah. Wild activities, crafts, and prizes. It's Jewish children. How wild is it gonna get? Somebody's gonna drop a candy. That's as wild as it can get. Jungle photo booth, drum circle, an exotic animal show. You know your life is over as a parent when you have to sit with your child and listen to like 50 children in a drum circle. It's like, either give me Tylenol or just shoot me in the face. I'm sorry. There's a lion-sized barbecue buffet, wild safari face painting, safari caricatures, and of course, jungle balloon art. Well, maybe I will go to this. Pour him in the jungle, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah.
It's like marketing, Rabbi.
No, and by the way, notice there's still the difference between boys and girls. Like bar and bat mitzvah club sounds like fun. He gets the tallis, he gets the phylacteries, he gets she's like, regular dress. You're just a girl. No big deal. Whatevs. That's our culture. So some of these papers are fairly politically active or take a political stance, usually in a conservative way. So they will take ads out. Certain organizations will take an ad out to give their thoughts. So it's like, oh no, the holiest place on earth defiled. So they took it out of a file and moved it into another file. No, save our kotel. This is the wall where Jews pray in Jerusalem. But so okay, what was it under? And they doing construction work near it, and it might crumble. Is the air quality bad? Or is there a threat from Arab? No, none of that. If we don't take a stand by our next visit to Israel, the kotel will look painfully unfamiliar. The kotel is in jeopardy, despite Bennett's assurances. I assume that's a politician. The reform's kotel agenda can be there's the dog whistle word, can be implemented any day as per their agreed coalition terms with Bennett. This is the reform kotel agenda. Redesigning the Kotel Plaza, creating a huge section for reform mixed prayer, and changing the nature of the holy site, and desecrating the Sefer Torah, the Bible, the thing, with women reading from the Torah. I'm not making this shit up. This is right here. Desecrating the Sefer Torah with women. Women! Oh! Because they, on the scroll, on the bricks, they get their drippy, fishy pussy juice. I don't know what is the problem with this. Removing the majority of control of the Kotel from the Rav HaKotel to the Reform in capital letters. Oh, those dirty Reform Jews. Ooh. And using their new status to represent religious Judaism and fracture the study of Am Yisrael, violating the sanctity of our Makom Kedusha, our holy place, because, oh my God, there's going to be people with tits standing there. Sometimes I am not. Very rarely, but sometimes I'm not so proud to be Jewish. I'm just saying. However, Passover's coming, so you're gonna want to. Yeah, first of all, you're gonna want to avoid this. Gluten. And if on Passover we know that matzah makes us very constipated, if you will, and it makes it very hard to make a boom, to make a dudi, so literally on the back of this, which is all in Hebrew, I don't know if you can see the rest of this, just the only English word on this page is gluten. You're turning it around. What do you need when you're not getting enough gluten? There it is, ladies and gentlemen. No idea what this is in reference to. There's no headline. There's no anything.
Oh,
It's not an advertisement.
what does it say?
I don't know. I should know. I read Hebrew, but these glasses are not prescription. That's why I can't see read.
You can put your finger.
Say, look at this. It's just and the lenses really need work. So spread this on your matzah. Hi kids, color and win. Yitzi goes to Hamas Peak. And Yitzi, I don't know how, there's a certain perspective thing that the crayon is actually bigger than Yitzi, which is terrifying. There you go. There's anything on this one? Okay. Just no. Not only is the potato, of course, the mascot for this program that Dave Lefkowitz hosts called Dave's Gone By, but there's so many reasons to say no to this. Cracked eggs, burning curtains, and French fries. What? And then, of course, these two. Yes. If waiting for Godot is ever done in a really bad part of Israel, these guys are going to be in it because What could be funnier than colorful costumes for men and standing next to a moose? This is also in Hebrew, so I have no idea. Oh, no, it's not in Hebrew. I can read this one. They're comedians who do tricks. And, they're funny, and they wear glasses and onesies. Nothing funnier than men in a onesie. But they're hip. Don't miss them if you can. And then, of course, there is what the Orthodox Jewish metrosexual serial killer is wearing nowadays. There he is. Order now in time for Pesach. Just good-looking guy, but something so creepy going on there. He's like, I'm going to knife him. I'm going to find a parked car. I'm going to shoot right into it. Clothing made for men. Custom. All right, let's do another couple of these. This is let's not forget we just got through Purim. I don't know what your Purim looked like, but God help you, I hope it didn't look like this. Here it is, a Freilachen Purim from the Chickies family to yours. Oh, there they are. There's John, Paul, George, and Ringo Stein.
Where's your other chickie? Did you have the picture of the other chickie?
I don't know where that other picture is. Oh, there's a picture of a lady that we have from a local park. We'll talk about that later. But oh, there they are, the Freilachen Chickies family. Yeah, not really much to say about that. I thought I could be funnier. About that. I'm not. Here's. I just love this. I don't know why. I do know why. I'm going to tell you why. Here's a story, a serious story, a memorable Shabbos in Kishinev. So the guy goes to Moldova. The Orthodox Jews, they hang together. They have a wonderful time. They have Shabbos. They enjoy each other's company. And then I saw this pull out, and this scares me. There's something. We exited the yeshiva and walked across the street to the city stadium. Sorry, trying to read this backwards. Where we sang and danced with the boys less than an hour after their surgeries.
One second.
So they got, I think I did this one time already, but this seems vaguely familiar. But this idea of, so they go, they find, I am assuming they're circumcised, or God knows, I hope it's just circumcision. I hope to hell their surgeries aren't like gallbladder removal. And then they pull the kid, come on, let's dance. Let's sing and dance. Come on, oh, get a little more morphine in him. He can horror with us. We sang and danced an hour after their surgeries. Wow. Just wow. Oh, and a little bit more Purim fun. Oh, yeah. There's this guy. Paw Patrol, no idea. And Purim. And he hasn't even put his costume on yet. That's a really terrifying thing. Speaking of a person in a happy costume, I just love the Jewishness of this phrasing. Hamaspik Dahab welcomes excitedly the parrot Rabbi. So much to unpack.
Is the bird a rabbi?
Well, no, he's a rabbi who goes along with a live bird and shows people what a bird does.
But is the bird the rabbi or is the man the rabbi?
I think the rabbi is the rabbi and then the bird is the bird. But anyway, here he is again with Hebrew all around him. Oh, I just love the idea. They welcome him excitedly. Somebody say, welcome isn't enough. Somebody else with different handwriting, let's just put that word in there and let's welcome him excitedly. All right, we have just a couple more of Rabbi Saul reads the papers here on Dave's Gone By. It's sold out. Oh, the Grand Seal of Malava Malka has sold out Dirshut Shabbos Convention. It was in March. And boy, one should want to hang out with these guys. Oh, so much fun. What was the thing I really wanted to share about this? Oh, it even features one of my very favorite rabbis, Rabbi Yitzi Gips. Yitzchak Zalman Gips. Yitzi Gips, ladies and gentlemen. That just makes me happy to say his name. Yitzi Gips. And now, as delightful as that is to me, this is not so delightful. I know you're trying to say something about your product. I know you want to say, oh, it's smooth. Oh, it goes down nicely. Oh, it has a good taste. This is wine. This is a wine. And it's not Manischewitz. It's a Chardonnay that is like butter. Are you drinking? Would you want to drink any kind of alcoholic beverage that has a buttery flavor? I mean, cream cheese I would, but butter, no.
Maybe it's like buta.
Oh, maybe butter. But I don't know what that would mean. But it's a buttery Chardonnay. Just no. Maybe a salted buttery marge. No. Just again, no. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not even, remember, this is the front page. This is the front cover of The Jewish Home. One of these guys is not like the other. Which of these guys just doesn't belong? Can you tell which of these is not like the other? Tell me before I sing this song.
Bill Gates?
That's Bill Gates. There's the guy, the Facebook guy.
Zucker.
Yeah.
Who's that guy?
They're all the Microsoft, the Amazon. There's Bezos, right? And then this. And remember, this is a newspaper where you're not supposed to be fudging photographs. We'll tell that to New York Post. All right, let's see. I'm going to do one more thing. One more comical, amazing thing. How about... yeah, let's want to finish off the Purim aspect of this program because we're already a week after Purim. So, here's your photo album of Purim local fun. There he is. And it's just only Jews, only Jewish kids. If you notice this one right here, where is he? Gotta love him. Please notice that, yes, you do have like a 10-year-old boy dressing up as old Groucho.
Why?
It's not even young. He literally already looks like 60-year-old Groucho on the Dick Cavett show. How is that happening? Why is Tom Green dressed as a pirate? Who the hell is this guy? It's just mind-boggling stuff. And what the hell's going on with this? We're sending him to the Ukraine. Well, that's all I can think. Anyway, I'm Rabbi Sal Solomon. You've been watching on the Dave's Gone By program, me reading the papers from locally on Long Island. Please remember that you can go to my website, shalomdammit.com, shalom, D-A-M-M-I-T, shalomdammit.com, to read and hear my sermons, my rabbinical reflections, also my show that I did, Shalom Dammit, an evening with me, plus the TV show that I did, Shalom Dammit, Rabbi Sal Solomon's Peace, Love, and Acid Reflux Hour. Also, all the interviews I've done for this program, Dave's Gone By. Just go to shalomdammit.com for more of yours truly. I want to wish you a happy post-Purim and a happy pre-Pesach, a very freilich and joyous springtime to you. And what else? What else can I? And I'm hoping that World War III won't happen before I'm back here again. You never know. It could. We ask Hashem. Let us have a blessing. Let us ask Hashem. Hashem, please, I beg of you. Please, more funny, good shows on Netflix. Nothing else to do. Please. This is Rabbi Sal. Let's play a little klezmer music to get the rest of the show going. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, some cheerful klezmer music there, here on Dave's Gone By, to thank Rabbi Sal for being such a delightful presence, or at least a presence here in the Daverhood on our show so many times. Rabbi Sal was on our very first episode. He's been on a couple of hundred.
I don't really think he's invited. He kind of shows up.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, hey, it's Shabbos. I'm tired of my congregation. Can I sit here for 20 minutes? Yeah. Oh, Joyce is wearing something so sexy. I gotta say, she's wearing like a sleeveless, T-shirt, I guess you could say. Sleeveless, but it's also open back.
$10 from the Gap.
So I can see your sports. Can you just come here and show people your back?
No.
No, not for me, for them.
No.
Give them a thrill. I want some ratings.
Listen, it's bad enough David had his pants off. I think that's enough for today.
Yeah, you might be right about that. So here's the deal,
Let's not
folks.
go too crazy.
We got. Let's see what we have coming up. We got. Yeah, right. Okay.
You didn't
So
do the Limerick.
we have our. Thank you. Yes, our Colorado Limerick of the Damned. I think it's the last piece of business that we have to do. Although we do want to remind you or tell you that next week, I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it's next week. Our guest is going to be the Israeli songstress Tamar. Although she may also be well known as Tammy Faye Starlight, for those of you who know New York Cabaret a bit and Joe's Pub. We'll tell you more about her next week. And then coming up in May, Michael Takif is going to be a guest on the show, and we're trying to line up some other folks as well, too. So always find out more about Dave's Gone By going to this Facebook page, davesgoneby.com.
That music was very inspiring.
Wasn't it? I know. You can also email me, davesgoneby@aol.com. Check my Twitter feed, Radio Dave 2. And please don't forget also my personal website of writing, collecting the writings that I've done for the past 30, 40 years, all these theater reviews, all these one-act and full-length plays, my song lyrics, and all these interviews that I've done. They're just coming up. I know you're not going to hear this, dear, but in Long Island Woman magazine, it's a kind of should be available right now. An interview that I recently did with I know you hate her. I don't know why you hate Kristen Chenoweth. Chenoweth, unfortunately, has not been on this program, but I did interview her for Long Island Woman. It's the April-May issue. It's online now. You can kind of read it through ISSUU or one weird website that they have, or pick it up locally.
How could you find it?
Get some hard
What do you
copies.
search?
Go to a bagel store. Oh, no, just look for Long Island Woman.
I'm going to look it up.
LongIslandWoman.com, I think is their website.
I'll post
And she's
it.
on it's a cover story.
Oh, boy.
So it's my interview with her. And after a couple of days of that being available only there and in hard copy, I'll pop it on my website, davelefkowitz.org. Dave
Oh, they don't come up
Lefkowitz.
the Long Island Pulse. It's Long
Not
Island
Pulse,
Woman.
no, it's Woman. Long Island Pulse doesn't exist anymore, but Long Island Woman
It
does.
doesn't come up. Long Island Woman.
Oh, it should. Google just for the main website. Because actually, I interviewed Kristen Chenoweth almost a decade ago for them, and they brought me back to do another kind of a follow-up. She's a lot of fun, and it's a really nice interview. So check it out. What? You hate Lin-Manuel Miranda. You hate Kristen Chenoweth. Really, neither of them for any good, real reason. But it's a nice article and great photos, and check it out. But again, if you miss it on ISSUU.com, davelefkowitz.org, you can read my old Kristen Chenoweth story. You'll be able to read the new one, and all these other interviews and all these other writings, like more than 1,000 pieces of work, are available to read, stretching back to stuff I wrote in junior high school, all the way to stuff I've been writing over the past couple of months. So check it out, davelefkowitz.org. All righty, well, before we let you go, I'm going to torture you just a little bit more, because one of the things that I do write, and that you can find at davelefkowitz.org, are my Colorado limericks of the damned. If you want to be really aghast and appalled, look for them on the site, because they're all there in one file. It's all one long poem like Lord Byron. And it's just horror after horror, after one limerick after another of the most disgusting, lascivious, sick, sexually degenerative ideas for a poem that you've ever read. And I do them once a week on here, on Dave's Gone By, because Joyce and I used to live in Colorado. And so I got it into my head to do a different poem about as many places in Colorado as I possibly could. And so it started with places like Vail, because that's pretty easy to rhyme, and then other places like, oh gosh, I can't even think right now. well, Greeley.
Like gun
'Cause-
barrel, gun barrel.
Barrel not so easy. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. And then, of course, the challenge is when you get names that seem unrhymable, and then you try to rhyme them in a limerick. So, we do have,
no.
well, what?
I think I shut.
We do have a new poem for you today, where we go to Cheyenne Wells, Colorado. There is such a place as Cheyenne Wells, Colorado. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, and then I'm going to give you a poem about it here on Dave's. What can't find it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm sorry. Cheyenne Wells, Colorado, our Colorado limerick of the damned.
A limerick is a comic verse of 5 lines, in which lines 1, 2, and 5 will end with words that rhyme. And likewise, verses 3 and 4 also end with words that rhyme. So this is a limerick. Rocky Mountain,
Thank you, Christine Lavin. Yes, we get Rocky Mountain High every week with our Colorado limerick of the damned. And no, I mean, Cheyenne is, of course, in Wyoming, which is just north of Colorado. But Cheyenne Wells is in far mid-eastern Colorado. It's a statutory town, got about 750 people in it. It's named for the Cheyenne Indians who had water wells in the area, Cheyenne Wells. It's actually a pretty happening town. It's got the Cheyenne County Fair, the Tumbleweed Festival, the PBR Enterprise Bull Riding Tour,
Ooh.
pretty good stuff, and such stores as Luscious Lingerie,
Wait a second.
interesting place, the Jail Museum, and the East Colorado Small Business Development Center. and this is the best one of all, it has the Ladder Creek Helium Plant, one of only 14 helium plants in the world.
Is that how you get high?
Because I guess it's a very, whatever, isn't it really dangerous gas to be
I
playing
think,
with?
so what I remember, okay, I'm going back to chemistry in high school. This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
That helium was very unstable. I remember, think of the blimp, right?
Right.
That it's an unstable element. That's what I remember. But
I know that chemists laugh when they're dealing with helium. They go, heh, heh, heh.
that's cute, huh?
Okay, that's a little chemistry joke.
Very cute.
All right. So let's table the periodics and do our Colorado Limerick of the Damned for Cheyenne Wells, Colorado. Ahem. The whorehouse in Old Cheyenne Wells has the loveliest mademoiselles. They're gracious and hot, but clean they are not. How nauseous I get from their smells. Please send your comments and complaints to davesgoneby@aol.com. davesgoneby@aol.com. Or you can also post or message me if you're a friend on Facebook. I love hearing from you guys. I love your comments, especially when they're positive. Hearing what you like about the show, suggestions for the show. How did you do on the Today Yesterday quiz? Did you enjoy the Peter Noone interview? Who are some other people you're suggesting I should talk to or Rabbi Saul should talk to? Just email me, davesgoneby@aol.com, or drop me a message on our Facebook page, Dave's Gone By. Well, it's about almost 1:45 p.m. here in the Daverhood, Eastern Time. Anything that we haven't really covered? Anything
I
that?
can't believe that the tea must have helped. You have a lot of good stamina.
Yeah, I'm feeling
You're like,
good.
see ya. I got stamina.
We do have one piece of really, really sad, tragic news to share with you.
Is he wearing his?
He took off his ribbon in
Story.
mourning. This is very sad. We gave you the news a few weeks ago that this couple in New Zealand was digging in their garden, and the guy's spade hit, like, went chink, and they dug 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 until they were able to unearth, literally, an enormous potato. Biggest potato they've ever seen. So big that they notified the Guinness Book of World Records. They carried it around through town in a wheelbarrow. They figured out ways to sort of keep it okay. Brought it to the Guinness Book of World Records and said, oh my God, we have the world's record biggest potato. I like where this is going. No, you won't, because turns out the Guinness Book people went through it. They did tests, they did samples, because this is what they do.
How do they take a sample without destroying it?
Well, you take a sliver of peel, and because the guy hit the thing with his shovel, so that must have taken off a piece. And what they found is that the item that the New Zealand couple dug up, that they named Doug, Doug the potato, was not, in fact, a potato. They had dug up a very large and amazing gourd, but it did not qualify as a potato. So unfortunately, the world's largest potato has not been found. It's not been uncovered. It's like Sasquatch potato. It's out there somewhere, like the Gila monster. Someday.
It's like UFOs, all that. There's got to be some TV show, like Find a Big Potato or something.
Area 57. It's in Pittsburgh. It's at the factory. I know it. I know it.
Oh.
We need Sir Kensington to investigate. I'm not sure about that. Maybe they'll just hunt for it. Not fun. It's just too soon, Daddy. It's just too soon. I know, potato.
Yeah,
anyway.
Aren't they happy that they found the real truth? It's not like a lie. You don't want to have a lie. Perpetuate a lie.
Well, they didn't know it was a lie. It looked like it was a giant, horrible-looking potago.
Could have been styrofoam.
Could have been. Anyway, very, very sad there. So, sorry to go out on sad news like that. Let me. What else is it worth talking about? Anything you want to mention? Anything you need to? We should cover from this week.
Anything that happened, we can hold off. You know.
I learned one thing this week. I know I talked about my coworker last week, who's very much into birds and bird watching, and he made me realize that even though I've been to Maryland once or twice or three times in my life, and I've been to Baltimore, Maryland, I've never actually seen an oriole, a Baltimore oriole, right? And you know, their uniforms used to look like, and I learned this because my bird watcher coworker, he likes to go into parts of Queens and Manhattan and Central Park, and he's got one of these lenses. He's serious, right?
Expensive stuff. Yeah.
So he's taking pictures that belong, in the Audubons. I mean, they're fantastic pictures that he takes, and he found in one of these Queens parks an oriole, a Baltimore oriole. Did you know they're orange, right? And so here we're getting doves, we're getting sparrows, we're getting juncos. There's actually a bird called a junco.
That sounds mean.
That's coming outside our window, and we're getting, what are we getting? Blue jays, of course, and cardinals, which are lovely. But never seen, even though I've been down to Baltimore, an actual Baltimore oriole. So he showed me one that he took a picture of. They're beautiful, and they're so cute, and I want one. Just saying. Anyway, so that's my bird news. If you've been lucky enough to see, or if you're in Queens and they have this area, I'm thinking he said near Kissimmee Boulevard, but I could be wrong about that, of that's reserved for wildlife and trees and birds, and they've got something like 200 types of birds there at any given time that you can watch. Central Park apparently has more than any other in the world. There's like 250 bird species in Central Park. So, you don't have to go. You don't have to schlep to Baltimore, Maryland, and who would want to see these birds. You can actually see orioles and lots of other things just around, if you happen to be a New Yorker, where we are. So, yeah, this is what I do all day. This is what their taxes pay me for, to stare out the window and look at birds. Life could be worse. Anyway, Han, thank you so much for helping me on this episode of the Dave's Gone By Facebookio, Podcastio, Programmio of the show. Want to thank, of course, Leslie Hoban Blake, Watcher, and Charlie Gross on Critic Circle on YouTube. Watch or read David Sheward, what he writes for theatercircle.com, culturaldaily.com, and, of course, his blog, The David Desk. Go see Vicki Quade. She is
or her cast. She might have more cast of people.
Oh, that's right. She isn't in every show. She's written or co-written all of them. But there's Easter Bunny Bingo. There's the Are You Smarter Than Your Fourth Grade Nun? Was it?
I think third grade nun.
Third grade, something like that. Yeah, and then of course, Late Night Catechism, all playing at the Greenhouse Theater in Chicago, Illinois. And got to thank most of all our new friend of the Daverhood, Peter Noone, Herman the Hermit himself. Go see him. He's playing March 31st at Somi Hall in Manhattan. And then a couple of days later on Sunday, next Sunday, April 3rd, he will be at the Suffolk Theater in Riverhead, Long Island. Thank you very much, by the way, to Jana.
It was a great interview.
He was wonderful. Wonderful. And thank you to Jana Eisenberg.
Oh, she arranged it?
She arranged it, yeah. So thank you. I don't know if it's Jana or Yana, but thank you, Ms. Eisenberg, for setting up that interview.
Yeah,
It was
he was
wonderful.
just so cool, and the wife in the car.
Yeah,
You've interviewed, well, the rabbi,
Rabbi.
and you, both of you have interviewed more people in cars.
I know. Well, the NXS guy,
Yeah.
he was in a car.
Because he had to drive somewhere where he had Wi-Fi.
and I think my cousin,
Yeah.
Cousin Adam
is always in
Glass was in a car.
somewhere.
I don't know if there's that many more that have been in cars.
That's a lot.
And I certainly don't want them driving. At least they're all pulled over, or somebody else is driving them. There was one interview I did, I think it was with Jack Cassidy, or Rabbi Saul talked to Jack Cassidy of the Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna, and he was in a tour bus van thing. But he wasn't driving, he was in the back of the bus, so everything was fine. Anyway, if I'm mentioning all these names, Joyce is mentioning them. If you want to read, or if you want to see or hear those interviews, go to davesgoneby.com. They're all there. And if you missed all or part of this episode, give it about 24 hours and it will be there too. davesgoneby.com. So it's a sunny, beautiful day. It was supposed to be raining all day.
Oh, really?
Suddenly we've got sunshine. It's gorgeous
You
out.
could tell by the amount of gardeners that were out.
Yeah, I know.
The gardener index.
Yeah, no. Now we're leaving. Any leaf blowers?
No.
It's like
they're
it's
having
like
lunch.
death out there
They're
now.
having lunch.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Incredible. It's just my luck when we do the unveiling for my dad in a couple of weeks. We're going to be standing at the gravesite, and I'll have these prayers to read, and then suddenly, like, the leaf, because he's got perpetual care. It's like, yes, Kadalbi, yes, anyway.
I would think that when they see a bunch of people, they would, like, move away.
So they move 3 graves. It doesn't matter. You can hear them from a mile down the road. Especially if there's no buildings in a cemetery. It's all open.
I think the person who developed one of those that could be silent would be a millionaire, because every gardener would get it. It would also, for me, it would also help the hearing of the people that use them.
Did you ever notice, and again, we don't live urbanly at the moment, but you really don't get what you used to get about 15, 20 years ago with the car alarms. You get ambulances up the wazoo all the time with the ambulances.
When they made them too sensitive. Now they know how to, adjust them.
Because especially if you lived in or near a city, but even in suburbia, 1 o'clock in the morning, it was one of the most brilliant things that Michael Moore ever did on the show that he did. He had a TV show for a couple of seasons. Was he got like 15 drivers to go to the mansion where the guy who invented car alarms lived. And he parked them outside his house at about 11:30 at night.
No, really?
And they just all started turning on their car alarms.
Oh, no.
Just to show the guy, like, this is what you've given America. You've caused more problems in some ways. And now I think they also have silent alarms that trigger.
I think the best thing is the club, because if people break into your car, they can't unclub the steering wheel, so they can't drive
Right.
it. So.
And nobody's got tape decks. Nobody's stealing CD players anymore. What's to take? So I don't know. So anyway, but it just occurred to me that you don't really think that much about the whole car alarm thing, which is one of the few better things about modern living. If you think about it. Not many right now. Not a lot with all the world is going through. But at least that. At least ambulance sirens and Hatzalah ambulance noise has replaced the car alarm. Something to be...
Are you nostalgic?
Something to build on. Yes.
Are you nostalgic?
I'm nostalgic for the annoyance of... What were the noises they used to make? What you... I remember that there were talking ones too, like, please step away from the vehicle.
Yes,
I think they had that for a while. Yeah. Anywho, have a wonderful week. This is Dave. This was the 843rd episode of Dave's Gone By. Be with us next week for Tamar, or Tammy Faye Starlight, on the 844th episode of Dave's Gone By and Gone By.
Days gone by, gone by. Days gone by, gone by. Days gone by, gone by.
We still love you, Doug!